Chapter 481. After passing the second trial, Long Yu felt that his strength had become more stable, and his affinity with the laws of heaven and earth had also improved. As long as I pass the third trial, I will be able to take the Great Circle Golden Pill and attempt to break through the bottleneck and enter the heavenly beginning state. Long Yu had a deep understanding of his own path of martial arts. No matter how powerful a grand desolate level martial skill was, or how powerful the blade of Nether Dragon or the ancient Dragon Bone Tower were, one would need to reach a higher realm of martial arts to unleash their full potential. With his current level of cultivation, he could not unleash the true power of a grand desolate level martial skill or battle weapon. It was already good enough that he could fight someone of a higher level. Long Yu and Ren Pingfan sat in the Azura spirit boat and traveled at lightning speed. This Nightmare Mountain range is so vast. Long Yu looked outside the Azura spirit boat, his eyes sparkling. From the start until now, they had already been flying for more than a day. The Azura spirit boat's speed was the hardest to find. They could fly from one end of the Heavenly Mandate Island to the other in a day, but they had not even covered half of the distance in the Nightmare Mountain range. It was evident how vast the Shenwu world was, and this was only a small part of the Shura province. And the Shura province was only a province of the Tianqin dynasty. We're almost there. The Nightmare Army's line of defense is almost gone. There is a dangerous buffer zone ahead. Ren Pingfan squinted and said, "In this buffer zone, there are adventurers from the Shura province and martial arts practitioners from the Ghost province. Even people from the Shura province might attack you, so I will drop you here. Of course, martial arts practitioners of the secret realm rarely appear in this buffer zone, so you don't have to worry too much." And Long Yu nodded, and Ren Pingfan controlled the Azura spirit boat to descend. "I will leave this Azura spirit boat with you," Ren Pingfan said. "This talisman is for you. If you want to come back, activate it with your Xianqi, and I will sense your location and come to pick you up. Of course, don't give me a signal from the depths of the Ghost province. Haha, you better not move beyond the Nightmare Mountain range." "Yes." Long Yu nodded again to show that he understood. "In that case, I'll take my leave first. I'll stay in a nearby Nightmare Legion's campsite. If there's any major discovery or danger, just send a message and I'll bring some men to help." Ren Pingfan put away the Azura spirit boat and threw the palm-sized model to Long Yu. After watching Long Yu throw it into his storage space, Ren Pingfan bid farewell to Long Yu. After the little fatty left, Long Yu looked around and found that he was in an extremely dense forest. Under the moonlight, it looked a little sinister. The ghostly aura was thick, making people feel very uncomfortable. "I heard that the entire Ghost Evil County is shrouded in ghostly energy. Even the Nightmare Mountain range in the Ghost Evil County is being invaded by ghostly energy." Long Yu frowned, but he didn't think too much about it and started to walk forward. He didn't use the invisible divine rune because using the rune's power would consume his mental energy. If he overexerted it, he would feel dizzy and his fighting strength would drop drastically. Therefore, Long Yu normally couldn't use the hidden divine rune to hurry along the way. The dense ghost aura in the dense forest might cause some people to feel extremely uncomfortable, but to Long Yu, he did not feel too uncomfortable. The netherworld chi can restrain this ghostly energy. Long Yu quickly discovered this point, and his heart calmed down. He didn't have a clear goal for this trip. The simplest thing he could do was to find a few cultivators from the Ghost Evil County and kill them. But even this was not easy. Long Yu sprinted through the forest with extreme speed. Not long after, he noticed many people moving around nearby. These people were either martial cultivators from the Azura County or the Azura County's Nightmare Legion's patrols. They were there to prevent people from the Ghost Evil County from invading. In this buffer zone, he could encounter the Ghost Evil County at any time, so Long Yu had to be careful. However, Long Yu didn't think too much about the people from the Azura County. Ren Pingfan and Hoi Yuanbai both said that the Ghost Evil County cultivators only needed one look to know who they were. Because the cultivators from the Ghost Evil County all comprehended the Shadow Divine Rune or the law of heaven and earth that was filled with ghostly energy, they looked gloomy and eerie. Long Yu traveled through the forest and his mental energy was unprecedentedly focused. After running for hundreds of miles, Long Yu finally realized that the ghostly energy around him was getting thicker. It seemed like he was getting closer to the Ghost Evil County. Suddenly, a gust of wind came from above his head, as if it wanted to kill him on the spot. Silver Prism Lock. Without thinking, Long Yu raised his hand and activated his Earth-rank high-rank combat weapon, the Silver Prism Lock. A silver light screen appeared and blocked the gust of wind. Long Yu raised his head, only then did he see that it was a gloomy martial cultivator wearing a gray robe, who was currently sneaking up on him from above. A cultivator from the Ghost Evil County. Long Yu's pupils shrank. This cultivator from the Ghost Evil County was really strange. Not only could Long Yu not sense his presence, he couldn't even see through his cultivation level. However, judging from the fact that the gust of wind from the sneak attack was blocked by the Silver Prism Lock, this person was definitely not in the Divine Secret Realm. This made Long Yu feel slightly relieved. Kiki, the gray-robed cultivator from the Ghost Evil County, sneered and suddenly turned into gray smoke, disappearing in front of Long Yu. Another divine character similar to the hidden divine character. With such power, no wonder he dares to run amok in a place like this. Long Yu raised his guard. The opponent must have set up an ambush here to kill the cultivators from the Shura County and rob them of their combat weapons, pills, and other treasures. If Long Yu had comprehended the power of the radiant divine runes from the white-robed cultivator who had surrounded him earlier, he should have been able to find the white-robed cultivator. Unfortunately, the current Long Yu was unable to do so. When there was someone like him who comprehended the divine character similar to the hidden divine character, he couldn't find the opponent at all, especially when the opponent didn't have any killing intent. No killing intent. Could it be that this person doesn't want to kill me? Long Yu's heart started beating faster. He didn't know what the opponent was trying to do. Since he couldn't find any trace of the other party, Long Yu continued forward. Suddenly, his figure flashed, and he used the hidden divine character, directly disappearing from this dense forest. What bad luck! I didn't expect this kid to also comprehend the divine character. After Long Yu disappeared, the gray-robed cultivator from the Ghost Evil County appeared in the dark with a gloomy face. The reward I was about to get is gone just like that. No one knew what the reward was, but it was obvious that it had something to do with Long Yu's identity. Long Yu never thought that this was his first time coming to the Ghost Evil County's territory, but he was already being watched. After using the divine character, hidden, Long Yu walked around the area twice, but he didn't see the gray-robed cultivator. He could only continue to move forward while remaining invisible. If all the cultivators in the Ghost Evil County were like this, then it wouldn't be easy to kill a few of them. When Long Yu used the divine character, hidden, even a cultivator in the heavenly tribulation realm couldn't easily detect him, let alone a cultivator in the heavenly tribulation realm who used a power similar to the divine character, hidden. Long Yu had no way of finding the opponent. This cast a shadow over Long Yu's heart. It seemed that this operation was definitely not as easy as he had imagined. The cultivators from the Ghost Evil County planted the Hell Demon seed in Lu Yuan's father, Lu Qing. They wanted to use this despicable method to control all the cultivators on the Heavenly Mandate Island. I'm afraid that the cultivators from the Ghost Evil County are evil people. Even if they are stupid, it's not a big deal, Long Yu thought to himself and decided that the next time he met a cultivator from the Ghost Evil County, he would kill him on the spot. It didn't take long before his chance came. When he neared a river in the forest, he heard the eerie conversation of two martial cultivators, causing Long Yu to be quick-witted and hide at the side. And the content of the conversation, Long Yu suddenly realized that it was related to him. Logically speaking, that kid called Mountain Ghost should already be in our vicinity. If I'm lucky enough to capture him, I'll be rich. One of them said with a sinister smile. Don't be too optimistic. Right now, there are at least 800 people who want to catch that kid. Why don't we cooperate? Maybe we can get the reward. The other person said calmly. Cooperate with you? You're of no use to me. Since you haven't seen that kid, I will continue to look for him. The sinister person rejected the other person's proposal and was about to leave, shaking his head. Long Yu hid in the side with a gloomy face. He didn't expect that the cultivators from the Ghost Evil County would spread the news of his arrival so quickly. Most importantly, as long as they caught him, there would be a reward. Someone was definitely targeting him in the dark. The most likely culprit was the Zhou clan from the Shura County. If it wasn't for the Shura County, how could the people from the Ghost Evil County know that he was here? Moreover, Long Yu had no enmity with the people from the Ghost Evil County. If it wasn't for the Zhou clan, why would the people from the Ghost Evil County target him? So the Zhou clan, or Deputy General Zoli, is secretly communicating with the cultivators from the Ghost Evil County? This discovery didn't make Long Yu unhappy. Instead, he was happy. This was because he finally had a target that he could carry out. If he could find evidence of Deputy General Zoli communicating with the cultivators from the Ghost Evil County, then wouldn't he be able to prove that Deputy General Zoli was the traitor of the Shura County? Deputy General Zoli was one of the 4 deputy generals of the Devil Legion. If he could catch him, it would be a great merit. Chapter 482. Since Long Yu had discovered them, there was no way he would let them go. I'm a little worried about 2 Heavenly Tribulation Realm cultivators from the Ghost Evil Province teaming up, as I'm afraid of attracting the attention of others. However, since you've split up, don't blame me. A cold glint flickered in Long Yu's eyes. He immediately made his move when he saw the 2 cultivators split up. It would be difficult for them to discover him with the invisible divine rune. It would be extremely easy for him to sneak an attack with a martial skill. Long Yu controlled his heart, not letting out the slightest bit of killing intent. He was able to sense danger through killing intent, and others were naturally able to do the same. He absolutely could not reveal any killing intent and alert the enemy. In the next moment, he got close to the treacherous martial cultivator. 9 Nether Dragon Explosions, Spirit Shock. With a thought, Long Yu executed the great desolate martial skill, the 3rd explosion of the 9 Nether Dragon Explosions, the Spirit Shock Explosion. A dragon roar exploded behind the cultivator, causing his gray robe to flutter in the wind. He was stunned on the spot. Even if it was a Heavenly Tribulation Realm martial cultivator, he would still be severely injured by Long Yu's desolate grade martial skill without any preparation. The spirit blast caused that person to fall into a daze for a moment. At the same time, Long Yu activated the spatial energy of the dragon scale of the 9 underworlds with a single thought, teleporting that person to an independent space within the ancient dragon bone tower. Done. Long Yu's lips curled upward. His goal wasn't to kill the cultivator, but to capture him alive and find out what was going on. The dragon roar only lasted for a moment, but it would definitely attract the attention of many cultivators from the Ghost Evil Province. Long Yu did not hesitate. After capturing the martial cultivator alive, he activated the dragon scale of the Hades and entered the independent space of the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda. As for the 9 nether dragon scale, it was tossed into the river by Long Yu beforehand, allowing it to flow downstream. This way, even if the other cultivators from the Ghost Evil County came, they wouldn't be able to find Long Yu. After entering the independent space of the ancient dragon bone pagoda, Long Yu discovered that the gray-robed cultivator from the Ghost Evil Prefecture had woken up from the psychic blast and was observing his surroundings with a frown. On the 3rd floor of the ancient dragon bone tower, this person was standing in the middle of a large hall. The surrounding walls were covered with countless dark green vines, making the entire hall seem extremely ancient. From the hall to the four sides there were 4 stone walls that were also covered with dark green vines. No one knew where they led to. The cultivator from the ghost evil county was baffled by the sudden appearance of the Nightmare Mountain range. Could he have found an ancient relic? That person suddenly thought to himself, and a look of excitement appeared on his face. Unfortunately, Long Yu soon appeared in front of this person and dispelled his doubts. "Do you know what this place is?" Long Yu, who was wearing a black robe, appeared in front of that person and asked with the corners of his mouth slightly curled up. The eyes of the cultivator from the ghost evil county widened when he saw Long Yu. "You must be the mountain ghost. What is this place?" "This is the independent space inside one of my battle weapons." Long Yu smiled calmly. "In other words, you're now my prisoner. I've captured you alive." "Ha ha, what a joke!" The cultivator burst out laughing. "You're just a human tribulation realm kid, yet you dare say you've captured a heavenly tribulation realm expert alive? Don't you think that's ridiculous?" "I don't think it's ridiculous," Long Yu said with a stern expression. "Cut the crap. I've captured you alive because I want to know something from you. If you don't cooperate with me, I won't keep you alive." "What do you want from me?" The gray-robed cultivator looked skinny, but his aura was not weak. He squinted his eyes and said, "Ask away. If I think you're qualified to know, I'll tell you." Ha ha! When he said this, the gray-robed cultivator from the ghost evil county mocked. Long Yu could tell that the man did not put him in his eyes. He curled his lips. He knew that he had to show this guy how powerful he was in order to make him listen to him. Primordial Shadow Kill. Without any hesitation, Long Yu formed an ancient shadow and pounced towards the gray-robed cultivator from the ghost evil county. "You want to fight? I'll keep you company." The cultivator laughed. "Demonic slaughter art, a mere Xian martial skill. Do you really think you can defeat me?" As soon as he finished speaking, the cultivator from the ghost evil county raised his hand and a gray mist suddenly surged out, enveloping Long Yu's desolate ancient shadow. In the ghost evil county's martial cultivator's mind, he only needed to exert a little bit of his strength to destroy the afterimage formed by the black-level martial skill, demon vanquishing killing art. A mere Xian martial skill wanted to show off in front of him? However, he soon found out that he was wrong, ridiculously wrong. How could a profound rank martial skill be able to condense this primordial afterimage before him? Long Yu controlled the primordial shadow and turned it into a pitch-black blade that tore through the sky towards the ghost evil country's cultivator. The gray mist released by the ghost evil country's cultivator was actually broken apart by the primordial shadow's blade. The ghost evil prefecture's cultivator's expression changed. His gray mist wasn't an ordinary thing, it was an extremely strange divine rune power. It had a shadow attribute and was extremely corrosive. If it was only a primordial shadow formed by a Xian martial skill and a personal retribution realm cultivator at that, the gray mist would be able to corrode it completely. But at this moment, Long Yu's afterimage was not affected by the gray mist at all. Instead, it broke through the blockade and headed straight for the ghost evil county's cultivator. "Defend!" The ghost evil prefecture's cultivator's expression changed. Gray mist surged out of his body and formed a mist wall in front of him, wanting to block the ancient dragon Imperial Desolate Shadow's assassination. Bang! The primordial afterimage transformed into a pitch-black blade that stabbed towards the fog wall. However, it was blocked. The gray fog had actually condensed into a solid form. It wasn't so easy to destroy it. However, at this moment, Long Yu himself also used Dragon Sparrow instant teleportation. With the Nether Void Dragon Blade in his hand, he attacked the ghost evil county cultivators from another direction. "Die!" Long Yu bellowed, purposely attracting the attention of that fellow. The ghost evil commandery cultivator moved upon hearing this. He raised his hand and directed the gray fog wall towards Long Yu's direction in an attempt to block Long Yu's attack. However, unlike the primordial shadow, Long Yu had the nether dragon blade in his hand. When he used primordial shadow kill, its penetrative power was much stronger. Poof! With a light sound, the gray fog wall was directly shattered by Long Yu. The pitch-black blade continued forward, and it looked like it was about to pierce through the gray-robed cultivator. However, the Ghost Evil Prefecture's cultivator's face changed slightly. Then, he retreated at a speed that was even faster than Long Yu's dragon sparrow teleportation. It seemed that none of the Heavenly Retribution Realm cultivators were simple. Each of them must have some special method. "You're pretty fast." Long Yu and the desolate ancient shadow sandwiched the Ghost Evil Country's cultivator in the middle. Long Yu smiled and said, "Now, what do you think? It won't be difficult for me to kill you. Even if you're trapped here, you won't be able to leave this place for the rest of your life without my permission." "Heh, did you really think that the attack just now was all your grandfather have?" The cultivator snickered. "It won't be that easy to kill me." Although this was what he said, after what had just happened, this person's eyes were filled with fear towards Long Yu. "So you're saying that you don't want to cooperate?" The corners of Long Yu's mouth curled up. "Very good. Goodbye. Perhaps after a while you will regret your decision." With that, Long Yu activated the dragon scale and left the independent space of the ancient dragon bone pagoda. Since this guy didn't want to cooperate, Long Yu would just lock him up for a while. Long Yu could also try to find the other cultivators from the Guaxia County and lock them up before interrogating them one by one. Whoever didn't cooperate would be killed. That would make things much easier. Long Yu really wanted to know who sent the news of his arrival to the cultivators from the Guaxia County. Moreover, it was also important to know how these guys were related to the Guaxia County. After Long Yu left the ancient dragon bone pagoda, he noticed that the dragon scale had drifted down along the river. In just a short while, it had drifted a few dozen miles away. Long Yu jumped onto the shore with the dragon scale and noticed that there was still a dense forest on both sides of the river. However, the ghostly aura was even denser. Clearly, he was closer to the Guaxia County. "I'll find a chance to capture 3 more cultivators from the Guaxia County and prepare to go back. There's a total of 4 captive. I should be able to get something out of them." Long Yu knew how dangerous it was for him to stay in this area. Not long after, more God Realm cultivators would come to deal with him. When that time came, it would be a tragedy. Long Yu didn't want to face God Realm cultivators. Not to mention, the cultivators from the Guaxia County were unpredictable. If a God Realm cultivator from the Guaxia County came, Long Yu wouldn't be able to escape. He would have to release the ancient dragon bone pagoda. Long Yu continued along the river and used the stealth divine rune to search for other cultivators from the Guaxia County. Within the ancient dragon bone pagoda, the gray-robed cultivator from the Guaxia County was shocked when he saw Long Yu suddenly disappear. "What the hell is this place?" The cultivator from the Guaxia County began to run around the 3rd level of the ancient dragon bone pagoda, trying to find an exit. Unfortunately, without Long Yu's permission, he couldn't leave even if he found an exit. "Damn it, don't tell me I've really been imprisoned by that brat?" The cultivator from the Guaxia County soon had a bad feeling and used all sorts of methods to destroy the walls of the ancient dragon bone pagoda. Unfortunately, the walls were something that even God Realm cultivators couldn't destroy, let alone this guy. Long Yu felt the actions of the cultivator from the Guaxia County and smirked. Soon, this guy would be more obedient and tell the truth. But just to be safe, Long Yu needed to capture a few more people. Chapter 483. Long Yu glanced over and saw a beast cultivator standing by the river. The beast cultivator had transformed into human form and was about to continue after resting for a while. This beast cultivator seemed to be a male cat demon. His claws were extremely sharp, and his eyes were extremely sharp. Long Yu recalled what Shu Chan told him. In the Shern Wu world, human cultivators were the absolute rulers. As for beast cultivators, although they existed, there weren't many of them. Most of them gathered in special beast cultivator kingdoms and wouldn't easily meet other beast cultivators. For example, in the Shura prefecture, there weren't many beast cultivators. Even if there were, they wouldn't live together with humans, so it was rare to see them. However, this Heaven Flower Realm beast cultivator appeared in front of Long Yu. It seemed like he had also comprehended the godly script or the law of heaven and earth similar to the ghost evil prefecture's cultivators. It seemed like he was also searching for treasures in the Nightmare Mountain Range. The reason why the Nightmare Mountain Range became a place of contention between the Shura and ghost evil prefectures was because there were many treasures in the mountain range. For example, the Green Edge Diamond was just one of them. Suddenly, the male cat demon's eyes flashed with a cold light. He looked in the direction of Long Yu. He had definitely found Long Yu. What a sharp eye, to be able to find me when I'm using the hidden divine script. With a thought, Long Yu appeared in front of the other party in a relaxed manner. As long as a beast cultivator reached the heaven realm, they would be able to transform into human form. However, they would still maintain the appearance of a beast. For example, this cat demon in front of him had a pair of special eyes that were completely different from a human cultivator's. "You're a mountain ghost?" The cat demon stared at Long Yu as if he was afraid that Long Yu would run away. Even though he was asking a question, it was obvious that he had already confirmed Long Yu's identity. "As long as I catch you, I'll be rewarded with a heaven-level warrior. Kiki, a mere human tribulation realm cultivator, dares to trespass on the territory of the ghost evil prefecture? You're courting death." The cat demon smiled eerily. He suddenly moved and attacked Long Yu like the wind. Reincarnation barrier. When Long Yu saw this, he remained calm and composed. He directly condensed the reincarnation barrier, and a layer of pitch-black defense appeared beside him, blocking the opponent's claws. Cat God's three paws. The cat demon let out a fierce roar, and three claw winds swept towards Long Yuchuan, extremely swift and fierce. Unfortunately, the three claw winds were unable to break through the reincarnation barrier when they collided with it. Instead, they bounced back towards the cat demon. "With my current level, I can easily defeat someone in the Tianhua realm." Seeing this, Long Yu nodded his head in satisfaction. He used the third explosion of the Dark Dragon 9 explosions, the Spirit Blast, and knocked the cat demon unconscious. With a thought, Long Yu imprisoned him in the second floor of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Not long after, Long Yu finally captured 4 martial practitioners from the Ghost Province. One of them was a cat demon, a Tianhua realm demon cultivator. Among the other 3, 2 were heavenly tribulation cultivators, and one was also a Tianhua realm martial practitioner. They were all imprisoned by Long Yu in the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Long Yu interrogated the 4 of them, but they did not believe that they had been imprisoned by Long Yu. Although the cat demon did not believe it, he still told the truth to Long Yu. It turned out that the reward of capturing Long Yu with a heaven-level fighter was announced by the martial practitioners from the Ghost Province. As for how the martial practitioners received the news that Long Yu was coming, the cat demon did not know. After receiving the news, Long Yu frowned slightly. He did not let the 4 fellows go. Instead, he started to think about how to find out the truth. If it was according to what the cat demon said, then the martial cultivators who went out to search for Long Yu should not know where the news came from. If Long Yu wanted to find out, he could only go to the martial practitioners from the Ghost Province to investigate. However, that would be equivalent to walking into a trap. Once Long Yu set his sights on a goal, he would definitely work hard to achieve it. Not to mention, this was the best opportunity to expose Deputy General Zhou Li. Deputy General Zhou Li wanted Long Yu's life because of Zhou Xiongliang. Although Long Yu was no match for him, as long as he could get hold of his weakness, it would be a powerful counterattack. As long as he found evidence that Zhou Li was colluding with the martial practitioners from the Ghost Province, it would definitely be a fatal blow to Zhou Li. The Ghost Province and Shura Province were archenemies. The king of both provinces had fought many times. If the king of Shura knew that Zhou Li was colluding with the martial practitioners from the Ghost Province, he would definitely not let Zhou Li continue to be arrogant. Not to mention the Deputy General of the Devil Legion, even Zhou Li's life might not be spared. It was a pity that Long Yu lacked evidence. Although he had captured 4 martial cultivators from the Ghost Evil County, they did not know the inside story. I won't stop until I reach my goal. There's no rush to go back. Long Yu's eyes flashed. He decided to stay around for a while and see if he could find any opportunities. If he could meet any martial practitioners from the Ghost Province who knew the inside story, Long Yu only needed to subdue them and he would be able to easily find out the truth. He would even get the evidence at the same time. Just as Long Yu decided to continue exploring the Devil Legion Mountain in the direction of the Ghost Province. In the Devil Legion Mountain in the Azura Province, a martial practitioner from the Ghost Province brought news from Hui Yuanbai's camp. The mountain ghost you sent out has been captured by the Ghost Evil County. If you want him to live, then come to the Ghost Evil County's camp alone. A letter was held in Hui Yuanbai's hand, and his eyes flashed with coldness. Hui Yuanbai was a terrifying 7-Daos Divine Realm expert, only 1 step away from the Emperor Path Secret Realm. In a one-on-one fight with him, not many people in the Ghost Province could beat him. However, if Hui Yuanbai went to the Ghost Evil County's camp alone, only death awaited him. One must know that the Ghost Evil County also had a 7-Daos divinity expert guarding the Nightmare Mountain range. However, it was impossible for Hui Yuanbai to ignore Long Yu's safety. If that's the case, I'll barge into the tiger's den. Hui Yuanbai had not fought with an expert for a long time. Now that he saw a junior he liked being captured by the Ghost Province, he naturally would not stand by and watch. At the same time, Hui Yuanbai was clear that the Ghost Province had captured Long Yu because someone here had snitched on him. Aside from Deputy General Zhou Li, there was no one else who would do such a thing. At the same time, I'll also look for evidence of you colluding with the martial practitioners from the Ghost Province. With this thought in mind, Hui Yuanbai soared into the sky and flew towards the direction of the Ghost Evil Country. However, before that, Hui Yuanbai passed on the news to another trusted deputy general and asked him to report everything that had happened here to the Azura Prefecture King. Colluding with the martial practitioners from the Ghost Province was an unforgivable crime in the Azura Prefecture King's eyes. As long as the Azura Prefecture King knew about this, Zhou Li would still be dead no matter how powerful his identity was. Hui Yuanbai naturally would not let go of such an opportunity. As a 7-Daos Divine Realm expert, Hui Yuanbai's speed was extremely fast, even comparable to the Shura spirit ship. It would only take him a day to reach the Nightmare Mountain range in the Ghost Province. A few hours after Hui Yuanbai left, a large group of people suddenly flew out of Deputy General Zhou Li's camp and headed towards the Ghost Province under Zhou Li's lead. General Hua is willing to take the risk for a mere human tribulation realm mountain ghost and wants to go to the Ghost Province to rescue him. We can't just watch General Hua die. Warriors, quickly inform the others to follow me to support General Hua. In a short period of time, Deputy General Zhou Li had gathered about 30,000 martial practitioners. Most of them were Celestial Realm experts, and there were more than 10 Divine Realm captains. These people seemed to obey Zhou Li's orders on the surface, but in reality, they were only worried about Hui Yuanbai's safety. Hui Yuanbai was their most respected general. Now that he was going to rescue a mere human tribulation realm kid alone, it was really puzzling. However, even though they were puzzled, it was impossible for them to remain indifferent after knowing this news. Tens of thousands of people rushed towards the Ghost Province under Deputy General Zhou Li's leadership. They also dispatched many demonic horseman spirit ships for the celestial realm experts to sit on. It would only take a few days for them to reach the Ghost Province. As an elite army stationed in the Nightmare Mountain Range, the management of the Nightmare Legion was naturally strict. However, Zoli was one of the 4 deputy generals and had a high position of power. It was reasonable for him to lead more than 30,000 martial practitioners out, not to mention that they were going to support General Huo Yuanbai. Upon seeing this, the 2 deputy generals of the Nightmare Legion gathered together and discussed for a moment. Before Huo Yuanbai left, he had ordered one of the deputy generals to inform the Azura Duke and the 2 deputy generals to monitor Deputy General Zhou Li's actions. Now that Zhou Li had led people to rescue Huo Yuanbai, the 2 deputy generals were at a loss. In the end, they decided to send a small team to follow Zhou Li. As for the others, they would remain in the Nightmare Mountain Range and not act on their own. In the Nightmare Mountain Range, a great change was about to happen. Although Long Yu was the fuse of this change, it would have happened sooner or later even without him. It was only a matter of time. Deputy General Zhou Li had the ambition to usurp the position of General of the Nightmare Legion and replace Huo Yuanbai. Long Yu was only a pawn in Zhou Li's eyes, a pawn used to frame Huo Yuanbai. At this moment, Long Yu had no idea that because of him alone, the entire Nightmare Legion in the Azura County had become nervous. There were even more than 30,000 people following Zhou Li. As for what Zhou Li was planning. Chapter 484. Long Yu wandered around the Nightmare Mountain Range for a long time and saw many martial cultivators from the Ghost Evil Prefecture. They all wanted to capture him and bring him back for the reward. But what made Long Yu curious was that none of them were from the Ghost Evil Prefecture. Instead, they were all martial cultivators from the Ghost Evil Prefecture who came to the Nightmare Mountain Range to look for treasures. Since the Ghost Evil Prefecture wants to capture me so badly, why don't they do it themselves? As long as you send out an expert of the Divine Secret Realm, I can only wait to be captured. Long Yu suddenly realized that in the eyes of the Ghost Evil County's people, a mere human tribulation realm kid like him was nothing. Since Long Yu was nothing, then what were the people from the Ghost Evil County planning? That's right, General Huo. Long Yu's expression turned serious as he quickly thought of the crux of the problem. The Ghost Evil Prefecture's martial cultivator army sent out a message to capture him, but it was useless. Even if they caught him, he would only be able to kill a small fry from the Azura Prefecture. Zhong Xingcai was filled with jealousy. The Ghost Evil Prefecture most likely wanted to use Long Yu as a hostage to threaten or lure Huo Yuanbai out. If they want to deal with General Huo, then it doesn't matter if they capture me or not. I'm afraid that the moment I appeared here, the Ghost Evil Prefecture had already sent someone to inform General Huo to capture me. A cold glint flashed across Long Yu's eyes. He finally understood the other party's intentions. If that was the case, then there was no point in wasting time here. He must not let Huo Yuanbai come here. Otherwise, what awaited Huo Yuanbai would definitely be a death trap. With that thought, Long Yu immediately used his Xian Qi to activate the rune given by Ren Pingfan to inform Ren Pingfan to pick him up. At the same time, Long Yu used the hidden divine rune and quietly headed towards the Azura Prefecture, preparing to leave the Ghost Evil Prefecture's territory. Unfortunately, it was too late for him to do all this. He didn't know that Huo Yuanbai had already set off for him without hesitation. Long Yu stayed in this place for 2 days and did not venture too deep. Hence, he was not too far away from little fatty Ren Pingfan. Long Yu flew back, and along the way, he encountered many cultivators from the Ghost Evil County, but he ignored them and went around them. Since he knew the other party's intentions, Long Yu naturally wouldn't be at their side. Chivalrous old man sends news to the Gatha halfway there. Long Yu saw little fatty Ren Pingfan swaggering up ahead. When he saw Long Yu, the little fatty's eyes lit up. Haha, little brother Long Yu, why did you notify me after only 2 days? Did you succeed? Quick, tell me, how's the harvest? Seeing Long Yu fly out alone, Ren Pingfan naturally guessed that he had obtained something. Unfortunately, things were not as Ren Pingfan had imagined. Long Yu met up with him, and quickly told Ren Pingfan about his speculation. Their target is General Hua? Ren Pingfan was shocked, but on second thought, he realized that it was highly possible. Ever since Hui Yuanbai took charge of the Nightmare Legion a few decades ago, the Ghost Evil Prefecture had never gained any advantage from the Shura Prefecture in the Nightmare Mountain Range. Their territory had even been gradually reduced. If the Ghost Evil County's target was Hui Yuanbai, it was highly possible. There's no time to lose. Let's hurry back and inform General Hua, Ren Pingfan said anxiously. Long Yu took out the Azura spiritual boat and prepared to let Little Fatty activate it so they could return quickly. However, at that moment a sudden change took place. A terrifying aura suddenly came from above them, followed by a burst of wild laughter. Ha! Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Why don't you stay and keep Hui Yuanbai company? Following the wild laughter, Long Yu and Ren Pingfan's expressions changed drastically. The two of them raised their heads and looked at the sky, only to see a vast expanse of dark clouds drifting over, shrouding the entire Nightmare Mountain Range, causing the entire mountain range to be covered in dark clouds. A skinny man in a black gold royal robe slowly appeared from the dark clouds. In his hand was a sickle made of black gold, emitting a strange aura. The skinny man's eyes were filled with a sinister smile. With a glance at Long Yu and Ren Pingfan, an unstoppable aura swept towards them, making them feel like they were facing a monstrous wave. They could not even fly steadily. Black gold sickle, it's the Ghost Evil County King. Long Yu, we're really done for this time. Ren Pingfan immediately recognized the person's identity. His face was filled with disbelief and despair. Black gold sickle, a great desolate-level combat weapon, was practically the Ghost Evil County King's signature weapon. Now that the Ghost Evil County King had personally appeared to block their way, Ren Pingfan could not understand how they could survive. The Ghost Evil County King was most likely here to get rid of Hui Yuanbai. However, the Azura County King would definitely not be here now. At least, not so soon. To get rid of Long Yu and Ren Pingfan, the Ghost Evil County King of the Emperor's Path Secret Territory would only need an instant. Emperor's Path Secret Territory. Long Yu was extremely calm. He used all his strength to resist the Ghost Evil County King's aura, only to realize that it was impossible for him to do so. The Ghost Evil County King could turn him into ashes with a wave of his hand. Even the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower could not withstand the attacks of the Emperor's Path Secret Territory's beasts. Previously, when the Emperor's Path Secret Territory's beasts appeared, the first floor of the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower was partially destroyed. Now that the Ghost Evil County King of the Emperor's Path Secret Territory had appeared, even if he hid in the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower, he would not be 100% safe. However, this was not a situation where death was certain. Brother Fatty, follow me into the Ancient Tower. If we can hold on until the Azura County King arrives, we might still be saved. Now that things had come to this was the only way for Long Yu. He was unable to unleash the dragon of the underworld's true spirit. Even if he unleashed the dragon of the underworld's true spirit, would he have enough time to escape from an expert from the Emperor's Path Secret Territory? It was impossible. The only way was to rely on the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower to hold on for some time. As soon as Long Yu finished his words, the skinny Duke of Ghost Evil revealed an eerie smile. The ancient pagoda you mentioned, what level of combat weapon is it? I would like to see if it can withstand my black golden scythe. With that, the Ghost Evil County King swung the black golden scythe in his hand. A sharp pitch-black blade flew toward Long Yu like the death god's talisman. Let's go! At this moment, Long Yu unleashed the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower. In an instant, the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower expanded into a gigantic ancient tower. At the same time, Long Yu dragged the little fatty Rin Pingfan into it. This is the ancient tower from back then. When Rin Pingfan saw the ancient pagoda grow larger, he recalled the ancient pagoda he had seen in the Azura Holy Tree Valley. He immediately understood what Long Yu was thinking. This dragon bone ancient tower could even withstand the attack from the Azura sacred tree. It could be said that the attacks from the arcane secret territory had no effect on this ancient tower. Even if the ghost evil county king was an expert from the Emperor's Path secret territory, it would still take him some effort to destroy this ancient tower. In the next moment, Ren Pingfan and Long Yu appeared on the 6th floor of the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower. After Shu Chan left Heavenly Mandate Island with Long Yu, the exotic beasts in the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower had long been killed by the shockwaves of the astral winds. At this moment, the 6th floor of the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower was filled with the corpses of Heaven Realm exotic beasts. Long Yu did not have the time to clean them up, mainly because he did not know where to start. Long Yu did not want Ren Pingfan to know that they were on the 7th floor of the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower. Hence, he brought him to the 6th floor. The two had just found their footing when they felt the entire Dragon Bone Ancient Tower shake violently. Long Yu resonated with the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower and felt a jolt in his heart. The Ghost Evil County King's pitch-black Grim Reaper's blade actually left a mark on the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower. Although it did not destroy the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower, it was at least the only damage the Dragon Bone Ancient Tower had suffered apart from the exotic beasts from the Emperor's Path secret territory. But it's still alright. Based on the current situation, it shouldn't be a problem to hold off the Ghost Evil County King for some time. As for how long, I'm not confident. Long Yu's expression was extremely ugly. Logically speaking, he should not have encountered too much danger when he came to the Ghost Evil County in search of an opportunity to earn some merit. Even if there were God Realm martial cultivators obstructing him, he was confident that he could successfully escape. But who would have thought that the Ghost Evil County King would appear? The Ghost Evil County King was the ruler of a county in the Tianqin dynasty. Just like the Azura County King, ordinary people would not even have a chance to see him. For example, Long Yu had not seen the Azura County King even after coming to the Azura County for so long. Who would have thought that the Ghost Evil County King would personally deal with Long Yu? No, dealing with Long Yu might just be the appetizer for the Ghost Evil County King. The real main dish was the general of the Nightmare Legion, Huiyuanbai. Not bad. So it's also a great desolate grade combat soldier. The Ghost Evil County King landed on the top of the ancient Dragon Bone Tower and grinned. He held the black gold scythe in his hand and his black robe fluttered in the chilly wind. Not long after, a large group of martial cultivators from the Ghost Evil County appeared in the dense forest. Each of them had a ghostly aura, and there were many God Realm experts among them. They gathered around the Ghost Evil County King and surrounded the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Blast it! At the Ghost Evil County King's command, at least a few thousand martial cultivators in the surroundings immediately blasted their strongest attacks at the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Various laws of heaven and earth and the power of divine runes engulfed the ancient Dragon Bone Tower in an instant. The most eye-catching were the innate mystique. Every time the innate mystiques landed on the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, the tower would tremble as if it was about to shatter. The Ghost Evil County King was surprised to see that the ancient Dragon Bone Tower was unscathed under the attacks of so many people. This great desolate grade combat soldier, the Ghost Evil County King, want it. The Ghost Evil County King raised his hand after saying this, signaling for the crowd to stop. Since he wanted the ancient Dragon Bone Tower combat soldier, he would not be willing to destroy it. Chapter 485. Long Yu's heart tightened at the sight of Huiyuanbai flying over. He didn't think that Huiyuanbai would really come alone, and so quickly at that. It was evident that Long Yu was still very important to Huiyuanbai. But now that the Duke of Ghost Evil had come personally, he was most likely after Hui Yuanbai's life. Hui Yuanbai coming alone was no different from walking into a trap. Hui Yuanbai was very strong, with 7 divine realms strength that made him invincible in the entire Ghost Evil County. Even if he faced the Ghost Evil County's army, he wouldn't be in any danger. But that was only against the ordinary cultivators of the Ghost Evil County. But now, the Duke of Ghost Evil County had come personally with the Imperial Road Secret Realm. No matter how many skills Hui Yuanbai had, he wouldn't be able to escape. GGG. Hui Yuanbai, you really came. Not bad, not bad. Seeing Hui Yuanbai's figure, the Duke of Ghost Evil's smile widened. The trouble that had troubled him for a long time was about to be resolved. He was naturally overjoyed. Logically speaking, with his strength, it would be easy to kill Hui Yuanbai. However, the Azura Duke placed great importance on Hui Yuanbai. If the Duke of Ghost Evil killed Hui Yuanbai, the Azura Duke would definitely come looking for him. Even for the Duke of Ghost Evil County, it would be troublesome. But now, the Duke of Ghost Evil County had set a trap for Hui Yuanbai to walk right into it. With some explanation, even if the Azura Duke wanted to find trouble with him, he wouldn't have any reason to. Duke of Ghost Evil County. Hui Yuanbai wore a white robe and exuded an imposing aura. Flying from afar, he saw the Dragon Bone Tower beneath the Duke of Ghost Evil's feet and his expression changed. At this moment, Hui Yuanbai still didn't know that Long Yu had the Dragon Bone Tower, so he subconsciously thought that the Dragon Bone Tower was the Duke of Ghost Evil's new great desolate level combat weapon. Hui Yuanbai, I respect you as a man. How about following me from now on? The Ghost Evil Duke coldly smiled. He shouted out, as a condition, I will do everything in my power to allow you to step into the Royal Road Mystic Realm. I won't be like the Azura King, completely ignoring you. Dream on. Hui Yuanbai refused without a second thought. He looked at Duke Guixie coldly. Where is the mountain ghost? Hearing Hui Yuanbai's direct rejection, the Duke of Ghost Evil Monarch did not mind at all and said casually, It's under my feet. I didn't expect that kid to have a great desolation battle weapon. What a surprise, but from today onwards this battle weapon belongs to me. Hearing this, Hui Yuanbai heaved a sigh of relief. Only now did he remember that Long Yu had such an ancient pagoda warrior that could protect him in the Azura Holy Tree Valley. With such an ancient pagoda as a combat weapon, Long Yu would not be killed so easily. Even the Guixie Duke in the King Road secret territory would not be able to easily destroy this ancient pagoda. If that was the case, Hui Yuanbai was relieved. Before I left, I sent the Deputy General to inform the Regional King. We only need to delay for a period of time. Once the Regional King arrives, we will be able to avert the danger. Hui Yuanbai thought to himself. He did not back down. In fact, even if he wanted to back down now, it was impossible. Die Guixie Duke. Thinking of this, Hui Yuanbai shouted and pretended to rush towards the Guixie Duke. In the blink of an eye, he appeared near the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. The Guixie Duke stood at the top of the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda, exuding a powerful and chilling aura. Although he was only a small dot in the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda, his aura was not to be underestimated. Want to kill me? The Guixie Duke heard Hui Yuanbai's shout and grinned. Hui Yuanbai, aren't you a little too naive? Or is it that you want to kill me on the surface, but in reality, you want to hide in this ancient pagoda? The Guixie Duke had lived for more than 100 years. He had long seen through Hui Yuanbai's intentions. However, at this moment, the Guixie Duke suddenly felt a strange power from the divine characters beneath his feet. It suddenly began to absorb his energy, causing his expression to change. The power of this divine character is even purer than the power of the divine character inscriptions. The Guixie Duke was not angry. Instead, he was delighted. What he felt was the power of the siphon divine character. However, the siphon divine character Long Yu conjured was too weak and could not affect the Gui Xie Duke too much. However, taking advantage of the Gui Xie Duke's momentary daze, Long Yu suddenly conjured the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda and slammed it towards the incoming Huiyuanbai. 9 Nether Dragon Scale, collect. Long Yu mustered all his strength and gritted his teeth, conjuring the 9 Nether Dragon Scale to suck Huiyuanbai into the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. Only then would Huiyuanbai be able to hold on for a while. Otherwise, he would definitely be killed by the Gui Xie Duke. At the same time, Huiyuanbai also sensed Long Yu's intentions. He immediately conjured 6 shadows, 7 identical Huiyuanbai, and directly slammed into the spatial power emitted by the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. The Gui Xie Duke's attention was momentarily distracted by the siphon divine character. By the time he reacted and wanted to stop it, he had no idea which one was the real Huiyuanbai. Or rather, each of the 7 shadows could be the real Huiyuanbai. Unless the Gui Xie Duke blocked all 7 shadows, there was no way he could stop Huiyuanbai from entering the pagoda. Swoosh! The Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda stopped moving and the spatial power disappeared. Huiyuanbai's figure had already disappeared from everyone's sight. Damn it! The Gui Xie Duke's expression changed drastically. He had not expected that a moment of carelessness would allow Huiyuanbai to enter the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. According to his plan, Huiyuanbai had to die. At the very least, he had to kill him before the Azura Duke arrived. Otherwise, there would be no more chances. But now, to kill Huiyuanbai, he had to first destroy the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. This made the Gui Xie Duke's heart ache. Since they're hiding in the pagoda, I should be able to kill them if I enter the pagoda. However, a great desolate grade warrior is definitely not that simple. The Gui Xie Duke's expression darkened. With the great desolate grade black gold scythe in his hand, he naturally knew how extraordinary a great desolate grade warrior was. It was too risky to barge into the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. It was not worth it. Let's go in and take a look. The Gui Xie Duke pondered for a moment before stepping into the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. The other martial cultivators of the Gui Xie County surrounded the pagoda. Soon, the Gui Xie Duke flew out from the pagoda, his expression darkening even more. He found the stairway to the 2nd floor after wandering around the 1st floor of the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. However, he could not break through the Netherworld Chi barrier at the entrance. In other words, if he wanted to kill Huiyuanbai now, it would be impossible unless he destroyed the entire Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. No matter how he thought about it, the Gui Xie Duke could not bear to part with a great desolate grade warrior. He wanted to get someone to transport the pagoda back to the depths of the Gui Xie County. That way, he could deal with them and Huiyuanbai could temporarily pretend that he was dead. However, on second thought, there was Huiyuanbai in the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda with 7 divinity realms, who would be able to transport the pagoda. Even his subordinate, the 7 divinity realm general who guarded the Nightmare Mountain range, would not be able to handle Huiyuanbai. If Huiyuanbai managed to escape, it would not be worth it. In the end, the Gui Xie Duke came to a conclusion. He could either personally send the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda away or destroy it on the spot. Thinking of the various arrangements he had to make later, he knew that it would be difficult for him to find the time to leave this place. In that case, there was only one way left, to destroy the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. The Gui Xie Duke felt extremely pained at the thought of this. However, for the sake of the overall plan, he had to do this. Death God's scythe break. The Gui Xie Duke was someone who knew when to let go. He immediately waved the great desolate grade black gold scythe battle weapon and slashed at the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda one after another. How long would it take for an Emperor Path Secret Realm expert to destroy the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda with all his might? Long Yu did not know. He only knew that his only chance of survival now was to wait for the Azura Duke to arrive. After rescuing Huiyuanbai to the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda, Long Yu knew that Huiyuanbai had already sent someone to inform the Azura Duke beforehand. However, he had no idea how long it would take for the Azura Duke to arrive. Feeling the entire Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda shake violently, Long Yu's expression darkened. Long Yu, although you have such a battle weapon, it's now in the hands of the Gui Xie Duke. Huiyuanbai stood beside Long Yu and said in a low voice, I'm afraid this pagoda won't be able to hold off the Gui Xie Duke for long. Why don't I head out lest I lose this desolate grade battle weapon? A desolate grade battle weapon was a rare existence even in the Tianqin dynasty. For Emperor Path Secret Realm experts, it was an extremely precious treasure. Huiyuanbai could not bear to let Long Yu lose the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda just like that. General Hua, don't be rash. Let's observe the situation first. Long Yu said before connecting his mind with the entire Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. He could clearly sense which parts of the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda were being attacked and which parts were damaged. If this continued, the entire Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda would not last more than 2 hours. Long Yu grit his teeth. Given the current situation, he could only gather all the power in the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda to fight against the Gui Xie Duke. With a single thought, the power of the Siphon Rune and 9 Hells Chi on the 7th level of the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda enveloped the entire surface of the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. The power of the Siphon Rune decreased as it was used. However, in order to preserve the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda, Long Yu could not care less. In order to resist the Gui Xie Duke, he would probably need to use up all the power of the Siphon Rune on the 7th level of the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. It was the same for the 9 Hells Chi. After Long Yu did this, a defensive barrier appeared on the surface of the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. When the Gui Xie Duke attacked, some of the power was first absorbed by the Siphon Rune and then blocked by the 9 Hells Chi barrier. Fortunately, I can hold on for a while longer. Chapter 486. As a combat weapon, the Dragon Bone Tower was naturally compatible with its wielder. If Long Yu could improve his compatibility with the Dragon Bone Tower, he would be able to unleash greater power from the Dragon Bone Tower. Upon realizing this, Long Yu was overjoyed. He tried even harder to sense the pulsation of the Dragon Bone Tower's power. At this moment, the Netherworld Chi barrier on the surface of the Dragon Bone Tower was constantly being attacked by the Duke of Gui Xie. It was becoming thinner and thinner. It would not be long before it gave way. The Netherworld Chi barrier that Long Yu had condensed was different from the Netherworld Chi barrier in the Dragon Bone Tower. It was much weaker. On one hand, his Netherworld Chi barrier had covered the entire Dragon Bone Tower, so its strength was naturally reduced. On the other hand, the Netherworld Chi barrier at the staircase was equipped with weapon refinement formations. As such, it could form a barrier that even the Duke of Gui Xie could not break through. Inside the Dragon Bone Tower, Huiyuanbai and Rin Pingfan could only watch as Long Yu struggled to control the Dragon Bone Tower with his eyes closed. The two of them were completely useless now. The only thing they could do was to pray that Long Yu could hold on for a little longer. However, a human tribulation realm martial cultivator trying to stop the Duke of Gui Xie from the Emperor's Path Secret Realm was a unique feat in the entire divine battle world. There was probably no other human tribulation realm martial cultivator who could do this. Even though other tribulation realm martial cultivators had desolate level combat weapons, they were divided into high and low grades, and had different characteristics. If a martial cultivator had a desolate level combat weapon like the Black Gold Scythe, they would not be able to stop an Emperor's Path Secret Realm expert if they could not hide inside it. They might even be blasted to smithereens. Long Yu's Dragon Bone Tower could only be considered an anomaly. It's done. Suddenly, Long Yu's expression changed slightly with a hint of excitement. At this moment, he finally sensed the various weapon refinement formations in the Dragon Bone Tower with his mind. He could use these weapon refinement formations to unleash the various effects of the tower's power. Comprehending and controlling the weapon refinement formation in the ancient dragon skeleton tower also signified that Long Yu's affinity with the ancient dragon skeleton tower had reached the level of psychic connection. The compatibility between a martial cultivator and a combat weapon starts from resonance, progressing to spirit link, heavenly enlightenment, divine fusion, and finally unparalleled compatibility. It could be said that the two cultivators' hearts and minds were connected, and they could control the combat weapon as if it was their own arm. The combat weapon would then be able to unleash its full power. If it was compatible with Tianqi, it would allow the war soldier to develop self-awareness. As a desolate level warrior, the ancient dragon skeleton tower should have its own consciousness. It was a pity that it was currently in a deep slumber. If Long Yu could be compatible with it, he might be able to communicate with it. However, it was currently impossible. Defensive spell formation, 9 underworld sky screen. Long Yu soon learned that the barrier of Hades' Qi at the staircase of the ancient dragon skeleton tower was formed by a formation and was known as the Hades heavenly screen. Only a small amount of 9 underworlds Qi was needed to condense the 9 underworlds heavenly screen. This defensive barrier could even withstand the attack of an Emperor Path Mystic Realm expert without suffering any damage. It was a pity that Long Yu had to expend too much energy to condense the 9 underworlds heavenly screen. With Long Yu's current martial arts realm, he could only condense the 9 underworlds heavenly screen 3 times consecutively before exhausting all his mental energy and falling into a deep slumber. I only have 3 chances. I have to block the Duke of Ghost Evil's strongest martial skill when he uses it. That way, I can prolong the duration of the ancient dragon skeleton tower. Long Yu thought to himself. The Duke of Ghost Evil attacked the ancient dragon skeleton tower with all his might. It could be said that he was facing off against the ancient dragon skeleton tower. At this moment, in the sky not far away, a densely packed scene was reflected in the eyes of the martial cultivators of the Ghost Evil Prefecture. Following this, they realized that it was the Nightmare Legion of the Shura Prefecture. They filled the sky, and there were definitely more than 30,000 of them. They're here. The martial cultivators of the Ghost Evil Prefecture felt their hearts clench. They knew that a great battle was coming. Soldiers, heed my command. Activate the Ghost Evil Destruction Formation. The Duke of Ghost Evil's eyes flashed fiercely. With a command, he gathered all his strength and finally used his strongest martial skill, intending to destroy the ancient dragon skeleton tower. At this moment, the sky changed color as a sinister aura emerged from the Duke of Ghost Evil's body. The power of the divine characters continued to condense before him, forming the shape of a chain. At this moment, the power of the divine characters seemed to have increased by more than 10 times. It's the art of God chains. Inside the ancient dragon skeleton tower, Hui Yuanbai, who was beside Long Yu, felt the aura outside and his expression changed slightly. Art of God chains? What's that? Long Yu frowned slightly. It's a type of utilization of the divine characters. Martial cultivators of the mystery state can not only comprehend the innate mystic skills, but they can also condense the power of the divine characters into chains, increasing their power by several times to dozens of times. Hui Yuanbai explained with a solemn expression, although it takes some time to condense the god chains, it's shockingly powerful. I wonder if this ancient tower can withstand it. Don't worry, General Hor. Long Yu's eyes lit up. Given my spiritual connection with the ancient dragon skeleton tower, I can withstand at least 3 of the Duke of Ghost Evil's strongest attacks. Really? Hui Yuanbai's expression changed slightly, doubtful of Long Yu's words. Of course. Long Yu's lips curled. Since he's using such a powerful art of god chains, he must be thinking of breaking the ancient tower in one go. I won't let him have his way. Right after he said that, The Duke of Ghost Evil had already condensed a sinister god chain with a shocking aura that coiled around the entire ancient dragon skeleton tower, looking like it was about to shatter the entire tower. However, right at this moment, Long Yu activated the weapon refinement formation in the ancient dragon skeleton tower, gathering 9 underworld chi to form a 9 underworld heavenly screen that covered the entire ancient dragon skeleton tower. The eerie chain was about to destroy the entire dragon skeleton tower when it suddenly collided with the 9 serenities heavenly screen. Immediately, there was a loud boom, and an extremely terrifying sound was produced. What? The Duke of Ghost Evil's expression changed drastically. The entire ancient dragon skeleton tower shook violently, but under the protection of the 9 underworld heavenly screen, the surface of the ancient tower did not suffer any damage. The Duke of Ghost Evil's god chain that he had used all his strength to condense did not cause any damage to the ancient dragon skeleton tower. This cast a shadow over the Duke of Ghost Evil's heart. Right at this moment, over 30,000 martial cultivators from Shura County's Nightmare Legion charged over like a heavenly army. In comparison, the Ghost Evil Prefecture's side only had a few thousand people. Even with the Duke of Ghost Evil, it did not seem like they could withstand such an attack. However, at this moment, the Ghost Evil Destruction formation that had been set up nearby was activated at the Duke of Ghost Evil's command. In an instant, an eerie gray fog rose from the dense forest below. Within the gray fog, there were thousands of dead souls. Although they did not have physical bodies, they were filled with endless resentment. If one was affected by the resentment of these dead souls, even an expert in the secret realm of divinity might become delirious and fall into endless danger. The Ghost Evil Destruction formation covered a wide area. Once it was activated, the area within 100 li would be filled with ghostly aura, filled with resentment of the dead souls, and mixed with ghostly aura sharp blades. Its destructive power was terrifying. This was the killing move that the Duke of Ghost Evil had set up for today. No matter how many martial cultivators from Shura County's Nightmare Legion came, they would be killed. The completely unprepared martial cultivators from Shura County's Nightmare Legion, more than 30,000 people, fell headfirst into the Ghost Evil Destruction formation. In an instant, cries of agony could be heard everywhere. Thousands of martial cultivators from Shura County stood outside of the Ghost Evil Destruction formation. Every single one of them had a vicious look in their eyes. These martial cultivators from Shura County hated the martial cultivators from the Shura County to the core. Seeing them walk right into the Ghost Evil Destruction formation, they felt extremely satisfied. As for the Duke of Ghost Evil, he only took a glance and did not care anymore. In his opinion, as long as the Ghost Evil Destruction formation was activated, those who entered it would not have any chance of survival. The resentful souls would entangle a person and use their resentment to corrode the person's mind until they lost their mind and were killed by the ghostly aura sharp blades of the Ghost Evil Destruction formation. The scariest thing was that these resentful souls were undying existences. They were the souls of martial cultivators that were preserved and refined by the Ghost Evil Destruction formation. They had the strongest resentment towards the living. Even experts of the Emperor Path mystical land would find it extremely troublesome if they were trapped in the heaven-destroying ghost demon formation, let alone ordinary martial cultivators. In an instant, cries of agony could be heard everywhere. Those from Shura County's Nightmare Legion that came to rescue Huiyuanbai began to die in the Ghost Evil Destruction formation. "We've fallen into an ambush." In the crowd of the Nightmare Legion, Deputy General Zoli shouted when he saw the vanguard breaking into the Great Ghost and Evil Destruction Array. "Everyone, stop advancing. There's actually an ambush here. Combined with the information I received earlier, I'm afraid General Hua has betrayed our Shura County and intentionally lured us here. We have to retreat quickly." Deputy General Zhou Li and the tens of thousands of people behind him didn't break into the Ghost and Evil Heaven Extinguishing Grand Formation. At this moment, watching their comrades who had broken into the ghost and evil heaven extinguishing grand formation being slaughtered by vengeful spirits and sharp ghost blades, they were all filled with righteous indignation. Isn't this the ghost evil county's scheme? How could General Hua betray us? Someone couldn't help but ask after hearing Deputy General Zhou Li's words. I heard that the Duke of Ghost Evil promised General Hua to enter the Emperor Path's secret realm. Do you think General Hua could have betrayed us? Deputy General Zhou Li said bitterly. I also hope that our general will always be our general, but the situation before us. 20,000 of our brothers died here. Do you think that if General Hua did not betray us, why didn't he appear? These words caused the hearts of all the soldiers to tremble. They had just arrived when the Ghost Evil Destruction Formation was activated. No one saw the Duke of Ghost Evil in front of them. Indeed, if Hua Yuanbai did not betray them, why didn't he appear now? Those who died were Hua Yuanbai's subordinates. That's right. If General Hua was still here, he wouldn't watch us die even if he had to risk his life. Could it be that General Hua has met with misfortune? If that's the case, then General Hua is a Seven Paths Divinity Realm expert. We've only been here for less than 2 hours. How could something happen to him in such a short time? Immediately, the Nightmare Legion was filled with guesses. Chapter 487. Hua Yuanbai's betrayal had caused the Nightmare Legion to fall into the Great Ghost Fiend Destruction Formation, losing more than 20,000 men. This news spread among the survivors. The most excited were naturally Deputy General Zhou Li's trusted aides. Not long after, the news spread to the rest of the Nightmare Legion. Let's retreat first and preserve our strength. Deputy General Zhou Li shouted as he led his trusted aides to retreat. Immediately, the remaining 10,000 martial cultivators left the Great Ghost Fiend Destruction Formation. Although most of the martial cultivators did not believe that Hua Yuanbai would betray Shura County, they could only retreat now. In front of them was the Great Ghost Fiend Destruction Formation. Countless vengeful spirits danced in the air. Once they fell into the formation, they would not be able to escape. This tragic scene naturally fell into the eyes of Long Yu. General Hua, the Nightmare Legion has suffered heavy losses. 30,000 men led by Deputy General Zhou Li fell into the Great Ghost Fiend Destruction Formation's ambush. We lost more than half of our men. Long Yu reported the situation to Hua Yuanbai. The murderous intent in Hua Yuanbai's eyes lingered for a long time. Zhou Li, I've long felt that there's something wrong with him. Now that he's colluding with the Duke of Guixia and causing the deaths of our comrades, I will not let him off. I'm afraid it's not that simple. Zhou Li used helping you as an excuse. If you die, it's all your fault. Even if the Duke of Shura questions you, Zhou Li will be fine. Long Yu said worriedly. You underestimate our Duke too much. Hua Yuanbai paused for a moment before continuing. I believe in the Duke's judgment. He will not let the wicked get away with it. Also, we may not die. Hua Yuanbai had already felt that the power of the divine chains that the Duke of Ghost Evil had unleashed was blocked by Long Yu. It was unbelievable. This gave him a glimmer of hope. If they could hold on until the Duke of Shura arrived, there might still be a chance. Long Yu nodded. He carefully observed the movements outside, especially the Duke of Ghost Evil's actions. The Guixia Duke's attack had no effect on the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, causing his expression to darken. He continued to brandish the black gold scythe, attacking the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. He didn't believe that he couldn't handle a great desolate-level warrior with his Emperor Path Arcane Realm cultivation base. Seeing the Ghost Evil Annihilation Great Formation activate and kill the 20,000 Devil Legion of the Azura County, the Ghost Evil County King nodded in satisfaction. With such a result, the Ghost Evil County had earned big this time. Even if Hua Yuanbai and the others managed to escape, Duke Ghost Evil wouldn't think much of it. To him, this mission was just to deal a blow to Duke Azura. Whether it was Hui Yuanbai's death or the Nightmare Legion's 20,000 men dying in the great formation of evil and ghostly evil, Duke Guixie had made a profit. He glanced at Zhou Li, the deputy general of the Nightmare Legion, who was retreating not far away. Zhou Li was commanding his men to retreat from the crowd, and a sneer appeared on his face. This Zhou Li has a good plan. He wants to borrow my strength to get rid of Hui Yuanbai and take the throne. Duke Ghost Evil's eyes flashed with coldness and disdain. If you really succeed, the Nightmare Legion will no longer be a threat to me. The entire Nightmare Mountain Range will become my Ghost Evil County's territory. Unfortunately, Azura King is not a brainless guy. How could I let someone like him take the throne and become the general of the Nightmare Legion? On the surface, Duke Ghost Evil was working with Zhou Li to support him, but in reality, he was just using Zhou Li as a pawn. Duke Ghost Evil was extremely disdainful towards Zhou Li, but since Zhou Li could bring him benefits, he reluctantly agreed to this plan. This plan was not bad for Duke Ghost Evil at all, so he had no reason to reject it. After all, Azura County's men would die, while his Ghost Evil County would not suffer any losses. At this point, the Ghost Evil County had already earned big. If that's the case, why don't I get this ancient pagoda? Duke Ghost Evil thought and temporarily stopped attacking the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. Instead, he transmitted his voice into the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. Hui Yuanbai, Shan Gui, if you leave this ancient pagoda behind, I can let you go. What do you think? The plan he and Deputy General Zhou Li of Azura County's Nightmare Legion was to kill Hui Yuanbai and set up the Ghost and Evil Destruction Formation to wipe out the Nightmare Legion's 20,000 men, then frame Hui Yuanbai for the crime. But now Duke Ghost Evil had changed his mind. Since he had already profited, it did not matter to him whether or not he kept his end of the deal. More importantly, if Hui Yuanbai died, Azura King would definitely hate him to the core and might even start a war. How could it be so easy to frame Hui Yuanbai for betrayal? Duke Ghost Evil thought to himself. Only those from the Nightmare Legion would believe him. As for Azura King, there was no way he could fool him. Since that was the case, he might as well let Hui Yuanbai go. Getting another Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda was not a bad thing. A desolate level warrior was a rare treasure. Moreover, Duke Ghost Evil had seen that his Godly Chains technique had not been able to destroy it, so he desired it even more. If he could get his hands on this ancient pagoda, Duke Ghost Evil's ranking among the 72 dukes of Tianqin dynasty would definitely rise to a higher level. The voice entered the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda, shocking Long Yu, Hui Yuanbai, and Ren Pingfan. General Hua, can we trust Duke Ghost Evil's words? Long Yu asked with a frown. If he was trustworthy, he could agree to the other party's conditions at a critical moment. Exchanging the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda for their lives was worth it. To Long Yu, the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda was just an external object. It could not be compared to his own life. The Guixie Duke is cunning and full of tricks. His words are hard to tell whether they are true or false. If we go out, we might be killed by him immediately. Hui Yuanbai shook his head. I understand. Long Yu nodded, indicating that he understood. In that case, surrendering or handing over the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda was impossible. The only way was to hold on and wait for the Azura Duke's arrival. The great formation of evil and heavenly destruction of evil lasted for a few hours before it finally stopped. Deputy General Zhou Li had already left with the remaining martial cultivators of the Nightmare Corps. There was no trace of them in the sky. It seemed that they had completely retreated. In these few hours, the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda was constantly attacked by Duke Ghost Evil and suffered many damages. During this time, Duke Ghost Evil had used the Godly Chains technique twice, attacking the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda with 10 times the power of the Godly Runes, but they were all blocked by Long Yu's 9 Underworld Heavenly Screen. If not for that, the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda would have long been destroyed. Are you really not going to surrender? I don't believe that a mere battle weapon like this can withstand 4 consecutive attacks from me using the divine chain technique. Duke Ghost Evil sneered. He knew that Long Yu and Hui Yuanbai had chosen to resist to the end, so all he could do was destroy the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda. Just as he was about to condense the power of the Godly Chains technique for the 4th time and use that terrifying power to destroy the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda, there was a sudden flash of lightning in the sky, followed by a patch of dark clouds. It was as if the God of Death was about to descend, causing the entire sky to turn pitch black. Originally, when Duke Ghost Evil had arrived, the sky was already filled with dark clouds, blocking the sunlight. However, there was not a single ray of light in the entire sky now. Azura Duke, you're finally here. Duke Ghost Evil could not help but smirk when he saw this. Hui Yuanbai is now mine. It's useless even if you come. As he said this, the power of the divine chain law, which he had condensed for the 4th time, swept straight up into the pitch-black sky, forming a gray fog tornado that swept away the black clouds in the sky. At that moment, a stalwart figure in a black robe descended from the pitch-black clouds. His body was surrounded by an endless azure storm, as if he was the god of death that had just walked out of hell. This was the Duke of Azura County. Duke Ghost Evil, you've gone too far. The Azura Duke's voice rang out. Facing the Ghost Evil Duke's divine chain tempest, the Azura storm around the Azura Duke expanded as well, condensing into divine chains that shot towards the Ghost Evil Duke. The power of both parties collided, causing the color of the sky to change. It was as if a terrifying storm from hell was rampaging in all directions. Nearby, 2 towering mountains that reached the clouds were affected by the power storm from the 2 parties. They broke in half and collapsed. One should know that the rocks of the Devil Mountain Range were extremely hard. Even a god's secret realm cultivator would find it difficult to mine ores from there. Yet now, the shockwave from the clash between 2 emperors' secret realm cultivators was enough to shatter 2 mountains. One could imagine how terrifying the power of an emperor's secret realm cultivator was. Azura Duke, I've never gone too far. Duke Ghost Evil snickered. Your subordinate brought his men to my Ghost Evil County. I merely retaliated a little. What's wrong with that? Cut the crap. Azura God Chains. The Azura Duke descended from the sky with an imposing figure. He raised his hand and the power of some kind of godly rune once again condensed into godly chains. Like a bolt of lightning, the godly chains wrapped around the ancient dragon skeleton tower. You're thinking too much. This combat weapon belongs to me. Seeing this, the Duke Ghost Evil snorted. The power of the godly chains formed a storm and blasted out in an attempt to shatter the Azura God chains. However, at this moment, a silhouette in a silver dress appeared in the sky. She raised her hand and a silver mirror appeared in the air, blocking the Gui Xie Duke's path. The power of the godly chains collided with the silver mirror. In the next moment, the silver mirror reflected the power of the godly chains. Silver mirror? Duke Ghost Evil was startled for a moment before he burst out laughing. Azura Duke, I didn't expect you to send your woman to fight just to deal with me. I'm impressed. Despite his words, the Gui Xie monarch's expression was extremely solemn. The figure in the silver dress held the desolate-grade silver mirror combat weapon in her hand. It could reflect the power of most godly runes and was extremely difficult to deal with. She was one of the Azura Duke's women. Chapter 488. When the black-robed figure of the Azura Prefecture King appeared, Long Yu told Hui Yuanbai and Rin Pingfan everything that had happened outside. The Prefecture King is here? Hui Yuanbai's face was filled with excitement. If that's the case, we won't have to worry about our lives anymore. There's also a woman in a silver dress with a silver mirror combat weapon. Who is she? Long Yu asked curiously. One of the Prefecture King's concubines. Hui Yuanbai explained, her name is Yinjing, and the silver mirror combat weapon is a great desolate-level combat weapon passed down from her ancestors. It can reflect the power of most divine runes and create a mirror clone. Mirror clone? Long Yu frowned. The name sounded familiar. Do you know that our Azura prefecture has a general election every 20 years? Huo Yuanbai asked with a smile. That's right. Long Yu nodded his head. Suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind and he asked, I heard that the second test of the selection is to deal with a mirror image of the same level as you. Only by defeating it will you be considered to have passed. This mirror image clone was created by the silver mirror, right? That's right. Huo Yuanbai nodded with a smile. That's right. With Yin Jing and the Azura Prefecture King together, the Ghost Evil Prefecture King won't be able to deal with us. Does that mean that Yin Jing is Princess Shu Chan's mother? Long Yu asked uncertainly. He remembered that when Princess Shu Chan had introduced the mirror image avatar, she had said that the mirror image avatar had been created by one of her father's subordinate. Now, it seemed that the person who had created the mirror image avatar was not a subordinate of the Azura Duke, but one of his concubines. That's not it. Huo Yuanbai shook his head. Princess is the prefecture king's only descendant. Her mother passed away more than 10 years ago. This Yin Jing was originally the prefecture king's subordinate, and later became one of his concubines. Long Yu thought to himself, no wonder Shu Chan said that Silver Mirror is her father's subordinate. It seems that Shu Chan doesn't have a good impression of Silver Mirror. When Long Yu figured out the identity of the person outside, he carefully observed the battle of the 3 King Path Secret Realm experts outside. Unfortunately, when the Guaxia Prefecture King saw the Yin Mirror and the Azura Prefecture King together, he abandoned the thousands of cultivators around him and fled towards the depths of the Guaxia Prefecture. He didn't even care about the Dragon Bone Pagoda. Duke Guaxia was still laughing on the surface, but in reality, his heart was filled with fear. After all, it was 1 against 2, and his chances of winning were slim. Under such circumstances, the Duke of Ghost Evil would naturally prioritize his own life. He could only temporarily forget about the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Chase. The Azura Prefecture King and Yin Mirror, 2 powerful martial cultivators, chased after the Ghost Evil Prefecture King. Soon, they disappeared from Long Yu's sight. We can't see, but we're free now. Long Yu heaved a sigh of relief. Although he was unable to witness the battle between the Emperor Road Secret Grounds experts, after the Ghost Evil Monarch left, no one could stop Long Yu from leaving. He activated the ancient Dragon Skeleton Tower and circled around the area where the great formation of evil and ghost and destruction was located, before flying in the direction of the Shura Prefecture. The thousands of cultivators from the Ghost Evil County all had gloomy auras. When they saw this, they all fled towards the dense forest below. When the Azura County King and Yin Jing appeared, they knew that the situation was not good. Now that the Guaxia Prefecture King had fled, how could they dare to stay? Not long after, the thousands of cultivators from the Ghost Evil County disappeared from the sky. All of them hid in the forest and mountains below. They must be escaping towards the Ghost Evil County's territory. Long Yu relayed the news to Huo Yuanbai. Huo Yuanbai said, if that's the case, let's leave this ancient pagoda first. Young dragon, store the ancient pagoda. We'll go back and wait for the king and the others to return. Long Yu nodded and stored the Dragon Bone Pagoda. Without the threat of the King Path Secret Realm experts, there was no need for them to hide in the Dragon Bone Pagoda. After all, Long Yu's speed with the Dragon Bone Pagoda was not fast. Moreover, with Huo Yuanbai around, no one could threaten them apart from the King Path Secret Realm expert. After Long Yu came out, he took out the Azura Spirit Boat and handed it to Huo Yuanbai to control. As a heaven-rank high-rank combat weapon, Long Yu could naturally control the Azura Spirit Boat as well, but the speed was not that great. After handing the Azura Spirit Boat to Huo Yuanbai, Its speed was more than twice as fast as when Ren Pingfan was controlling it. As expected of a 7-Daos Divine Realm expert, the Xian Qi in his body was extremely dense. The Azura spirit boat carried the three of them to a camp at the border of the Azura prefecture and stopped. This camp was where Ren Pingfan had been waiting for news from Long Yu. After handing the Azura spirit boat to Long Yu, the three of them descended towards the camp. "Let's wait here for the regional king and Silver Mirror to return," Hui Yuanbai said, and was the first to land. However, the atmosphere in the army camp was not quite right at this moment. Hui Yuanbai, the general of the entire Nightmare Army, had arrived, but no one dared to welcome him. They all stayed far away from him and looked at him doubtfully. "What's going on?" Hui Yuanbai frowned and asked the nearest martial cultivator. "This. General Horror, aren't you?" The martial cultivator jumped in fright and was about to say something when he was interrupted by a burst of laughter from the side. "Ha ha, Hui Yuanbai. Impressive, impressive. You managed to escape in such a situation." The laughter obviously came from a familiar person, Deputy General Zhou Li of the Nightmare Legion. Following this laughter, the three of them saw Deputy General Zhou Li leading a group of Nightmare Legion troops from the side. They surrounded the three of them with covetous eyes. "General Hua, you betrayed Azura Prefecture and caused the deaths of more than 20,000 Nightmare Legion troops. How dare you come back to the camp?" Deputy General Zhou Li snorted as he spoke. "The regional king has already appeared, but you went to deal with the regional king Guixia first. What's your motive for returning to the camp?" "Ridiculous." Hui Yuanbai looked at Deputy General Zhou Li and sneered. He was so angry at Deputy General Zhou Li that he did not know what to say. Betrayed Azura Prefecture and caused the deaths of more than 20,000 Nightmare Legion troops? These things were obviously done by Deputy General Zhou Li. But now, Deputy General Zhou Li was pointing the spearhead at Hui Yuanbai and trying to frame him. "Soldiers, Hui Yuanbai betrayed Azura Prefecture and sided with Guixia County. The evidence is conclusive and more than 20,000 of his comrades were killed by him. Since we've found him, we can't let him go so easily. We must capture him and wait for the regional king's return." Deputy General Zhou Li's face was full of righteousness, but his eyes were as sinister as a fox's. "Today, I took the liberty of inviting 2 experts from Liang County to arrest Hui Yuanbai." 2 middle-aged men in fiery red robes walked out from behind Zhou Li, one on the left and one on the right. They looked at Hui Yuanbai with extremely unfriendly expressions. "Experts from Liang Prefecture." Hui Yuanbai's expression changed slightly. These 2 middle-aged men in fiery red robes were actually experts from Liang County, a county adjacent to Shura County. Each of them was a 7-path Divine Realm expert. Moreover, Hui Yuanbai had a rough idea of their names. After all, in each prefecture, 7 Divine Realm martial cultivators were considered extremely powerful. "Yang Guan, Yang Kong, you two are actually on the same side as the Zhou family," Hui Yuanbai said in a low voice. Yang Guan and Yang Kong were the 2 middle-aged men in fiery red robes from the neighboring Liang Prefecture. Our Yang family and the Zhou family are old friends," the older of the 2 middle-aged men said matter-of-factly. "Moreover, our Liang Prefecture has a good relationship with your county. Now that you're a general of the Nightmare Legion, you've betrayed Azura Prefecture and sided with Guixia County. I have to say, we must capture you today." Long Yu stood beside Hui Yuanbai and listened to the 2 guys distorting the truth, while the Nightmare Legion experts seemed to believe them. He couldn't help but feel puzzled. Fatty Ren Pingfan also had the same thought. "You can't use such a clumsy method to frame others, right?" Fatty said casually. "Moreover, Senior Shura Prefecture will naturally be managed by the Shura Prefecture King. Why are you here? Who do you think you are?" Yang Guan and Yang Kong scolded angrily when they heard Fatty Ren Pingfan's words. "You're just a junior. How dare you say such things? You're courting death." Yo, you people from Liang Prefecture dare to act so presumptuously in our Shura Prefecture? Do you think Senior Shura Prefecture King will let you off if he finds out? Fatty wasn't afraid at all. Although there was a huge gap between their martial realms, he knew that Long Yu had the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. The ancient Dragon Bone Tower was something that even the Duke of Ghost Evil could not break through, let alone these two Seven Divinity Realm fellas. Don't waste your breath on them. Otherwise, they'll have a chance to escape. Let's do it. Deputy General Zhou Li snorted coldly and nodded at Yang Kong and Yang Guan. He had initiated this series of plans and framed Hu Yuanbai for the crime of betraying Shura Prefecture and killing more than 20,000 people from the Nightmare Legion. Of course, it wouldn't be that simple. Yang Kong and Yang Guan, who came from the neighboring Liang Prefecture, were both Seven Divine Realm experts. All they had to do now was capture Hu Yuanbai as an excuse and accidentally kill him. Then, even if the Shura Prefecture King pursued the matter, he wouldn't be able to do anything to them. Zhou Li or the Zhou family alone wouldn't dare to do such a thing. Chapter 489. Zhou Li did not know that Long Yu possessed the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, so when he led Yang Guan and Yang Kong to intercept Hu Yuanbai, he immediately thought that victory was in his grasp. As long as he accidentally killed Hu Yuanbai now, even the Shura County Lord would not be able to do anything to him. However, he did not know that Hu Yuanbai, Long Yu, and Ren Pingfan were looking at him as if they were watching a joke. Zhou Li, you keep saying that I am a traitor and betrayed Shura County. What proof do you have? Hu Yuanbai said indifferently. If you have proof, then wait for the regional king to return and let him decide. I'm afraid it is against the rules for you to bring people from Liang County to deal with me. You are a traitor. What rules do we need to follow in order to capture you? Deputy General Zhou Li said coldly. After we capture you, we will naturally hand you over to the regional king. Although he said that, he was thinking that if they fought later, all he needed to do was accidentally, and he would be able to finish off Hu Yuanbai. Even if Hu Yuanbai surrendered, Zhou Li would never wait for the Shura County Lord to return. Instead, he would make up an excuse, such as saying that Hu Yuanbai dared to launch a sneak attack after they captured him and then kill him. No matter what, Hu Yuanbai was already a dead man in Deputy General Zhou Li's eyes. As for Ren Pingfan and Long Yu behind Hu Yuanbai, they were even less of a threat to Ren Pingfan. Two mere juniors would not be of any use in this situation. Unfortunately, Zhou Li's estimation of Long Yu was wrong. This time, a traitor has appeared in our Azura County. We've truly let the two of you laugh at us. Now, I hope that the two of you can help us capture this traitor. When the county king arrives, he will definitely thank you. Zhou Li said respectfully to Yang Guan and Yang Kong. Alright, let's cut the nonsense. Let's capture this traitor first. Yang Guan and Yang Kong looked at each other and saw the killing intent in each other's eyes. They knew that this time, they were determined to kill Hu Yuanbai. Hu Yuanbai was Azura County's most important general of the Nightmare Legion. He was extremely important to Azura County. If they killed Hu Yuanbai for no reason, the two of them wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. But now, with Zhou Li and the Zhou family's support in Shura County, the matter of Hu Yuanbai being a traitor was already settled. Even if they killed Hu Yuanbai with the support of Liang County, nothing would happen to them. Go! Yang Guan and Yang Kong, two Seven Paths Divinity Realm cultivators dressed in fiery red robes, charged at Hu Yuanbai from both sides. General Hu, Brother Fatty, come in. Without any hesitation, Long Yu released the ancient Dragon Bone Tower and used the spatial power of the Dragon Scale of the 9 Underworlds to store himself, Hu Yuanbai, and Ren Pingfan into the ancient Dragon Bone Tower. Then, the ancient Dragon Skeleton Pagoda expanded rapidly, and soon became a huge ancient pagoda that sat in the middle of the army camp. Then, it slowly floated up. Hiding in this war weapon? Deputy General Zhou Li's expression changed slightly, then he sneered. How can a mere human tribulation realm kid unleash the power of this war weapon? Brothers, please use your full strength and blast this ancient pagoda apart. I'd like to see where that traitor can run to. Yang Kong and Yang Guan saw the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda rise up and emit an extremely ancient aura, causing greed to appear in their eyes. Looks like that kid called Mountain Ghost has a lot of good stuff. After killing him, we'll have to plunder him. The two of them had the same thought at almost the same time. Then, they each condensed the power of some kind of fiery divine text in their hand. Without a doubt, these two were powerful martial cultivators who had obtained the inscriptions of the divine text. The power of the fiery divine text instantly condensed into two fiery whips that smashed towards the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda. The fiery whips smashed into the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda, but were met with the siphon divine text that Long Yu had prepared. In an instant, the power of the two whips was completely absorbed, extinguishing them. Looks like this ancient pagoda isn't ordinary. Yang Guan and Yang Kong's expressions changed slightly. Then, the power of the fiery divine text around them intensified, and they prepared to use their connate mystiques to deal with the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda. Yang Guan, who was slightly older, raised his hand, and flames condensed in his hand, transforming into a fire dragon. Heavenly Fire Dragon. The Heavenly Fire Dragon was one of the connate mystiques that Yang Guan had comprehended. It could transform the power of the fiery divine text into a heavenly fire dragon that was wrapped in flames and charged towards its target. It also possessed a certain level of spirituality and knew how to fight on its own. The other person, Yang Kong, wrapped the power of the fiery divine text around his hand, and with a wave of his hand, formed a firewolf. Connate Mystique, Brutal Flame Fang. This firewolf was one of Yang Kong's connate mystique. The summoned fire wolf's combat power was not much weaker than his own. Under such circumstances, they felt that the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda was rather difficult to deal with. Therefore, they both used similar summoning spirit mystiques to fight for them and attack the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda, thereby conserving their own strength. After all, they were wary of Hui Yuanbai, who was also a Seven Daos mystique expert. Although they were fighting two against one, they wouldn't have much confidence if they expended too much of their strength. The Heavenly Fire Dragon and the Brutal Flame Fang, two fire spirits formed from connate mystiques, lunged at the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda. Their destructive power was extremely terrifying, and even the dense forest in the surroundings was set ablaze. The forest in the Nightmare Mountains burned, but the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda remained unmoved under the attacks of the two fire spirits. It continued to fly into the sky, and before long, it had already flown hundreds of meters into the sky. Deputy General Zhou Li watched as Yang Guan and Yang Kong attacked. He had originally been overjoyed that the plan he had prepared for a long time was finally about to succeed. However, his expression changed when he saw that the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda remained unscathed in the hands of the two brothers. If they couldn't kill Hui Yuanbai here, all their efforts would have been for naught. If he confronted Hui Yuanbai in front of the Duke of Azura, he would definitely be the one to give himself away, not Hui Yuanbai. In other words, if he couldn't kill Hui Yuanbai, he would have to leave Azura Prefecture immediately. Wait a little longer. That human tribulation brat's battle weapon can't be so tough. It can actually withstand the attacks of Seven Daos mystique experts. Deputy General Zhou Li's eyes were extremely cold. He watched as the Heavenly Fire Dragon and the Brutal Fire Fang, the two fire spirits, continuously attacked the dragon skeleton tower, even causing the entire tower to turn red from the heat. However, they were unable to break through the dragon skeleton tower's body and destroy it. Even the Duke of Ghost Evil can't deal with this ancient pagoda. How can these two fellows who play with fire do it? Inside the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda, Ren Pingfan chuckled as he listened to Long Yu's description of the situation. Little brother Long, this ancient pagoda of yours is really good stuff. If it wasn't for this ancient pagoda, wouldn't you have lost a few more lives? More or less. Long Yu nodded with a smile. Indeed, the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda had saved him many times. Ever since he went to the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda and participated in the heavenly mandate sacred selection, the ancient pagoda had been of great help to him. Not only had it helped him comprehend the laws of the underworld, but it had also saved his life many times. To Long Yu, the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda was now one of his most important battle weapons. Of course, another equally important battle weapon was the nether dragon blade. Although the nether dragon blade didn't seem to be as useful as the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda at the moment, as long as Long Yu's martial arts realm improved by a few levels, the terrifying power of the nether dragon blade would be completely revealed. Yang Guan and Yang Kong unleashed all sorts of techniques from outside. The violent power of the divine flame runes, coupled with their innate mystique, almost turned the entire army camp below into ashes. In the surrounding mountains, the fire spread rapidly. The members of the Nightmare Army in the camp scattered to take refuge and continuously extinguished the flames in the mountains. Fortunately, there were many martial arts practitioners who had comprehended the laws of heaven and earth of the water element or divine runes of the ice element. It wasn't difficult for them to extinguish the mountain fire. Of course, it was impossible for them to resist the innate mystique of Yang Guan and Yang Kong head-on. The mountain fire was already wreaking havoc, let alone the power of the flames that the entire ancient dragon skeleton pagoda had to endure. However, no matter how Yang Guan and Yang Kong burned, the entire ancient dragon skeleton pagoda remained undamaged. It just floated in the air, unmoving. This caused Yang Guan and Yang Kong's expressions to gradually turn extremely ugly. Deputy General Zhou Li, who was watching the battle from the side, also had an ugly expression. It's about time. We should leave. If we don't leave now, it'll be too late. Zhou Li's expression was frighteningly gloomy. He realized that he had completely underestimated the human tribulation realm kid. He had originally thought that the kid wouldn't be a threat to his plan, but he didn't expect the kid's ancient pagoda battle weapon to be as hard as a tortoise's shell. 7 Divine Realms experts couldn't even break the ancient pagoda. It was simply hopeless. If they dragged on any longer, the Azura Prefecture King would definitely return soon. By then, the Azura Prefecture King would definitely force him to confront Huo Yuanbai. If that happened, he would definitely die. If that's the case, let's go. Zhou Li, with your cultivation, you'll definitely be treated extremely well when you arrive at Liang County. You won't have to worry about your future, Yang Guan said to Zhou Li before turning around to leave. Although he found it a pity that he couldn't help Zhou Li successfully become the general of the Nightmare Army, it was still a good thing that he could force Zhou Li to join his Liang County. It was just a pity that he could obtain the majestic ancient pagoda battle weapon. Yang Guan and Yang Kong took one last look at the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda before leaving with Deputy General Zhou Li. It was obvious that they wanted to avoid the Azura Prefecture King and return to Liang County. However, how could Long Yu just watch them escape? General Hua, it's your turn to stop them, Long Yu said to Huo Yuanbai, his eyes sparkling. Yang Guan and Yang Kong had expended too much energy trying to break open the ancient dragon skeleton pagoda. Now that they were in a hurry to escape, they definitely wouldn't dare to get entangled with Huo Yuanbai. Chapter 490. When Yang Guan and Yang Kong turned to flee, Huo Yuanbai took the initiative to attack. At the same time, Long Yu activated the Dragon Bone Pagoda to assist from the side. This scene astonished the Nightmare Army's martial cultivators in the army camp below. Their deputy general Zhou Li had originally brought people to capture Huo Yuanbai, but why did he seem to be afraid now and wanted to flee? Even if he couldn't break through the ancient pagoda, he shouldn't have to flee, right? As long as the Azura Duke arrived, the ancient pagoda wouldn't be able to hold out. The only possibility was that Hui Yuanbai hadn't truly betrayed Azura Prefecture. Everything had been fabricated by Zoli. If that was the case, Zoli would naturally be afraid of meeting the Azura Duke. At this thought, the spectating martial cultivators were somewhat comforted. General Hui Yuanbai was their spiritual pillar. If even General Hui Yuanbai had betrayed Azura Prefecture and joined the Ghost Evil Prefecture, they probably wouldn't believe that there was anyone in this world who was absolutely loyal. Hui Yuanbai took the initiative to attack with his Khanate magic. An earth-shattering war drum appeared behind him and sounded, causing his aura to rise to a new level. With this war drum, Hui Yuanbai's strength had increased by at least 30%. This was the innate magical power that Hui Yuanbai, as the general of the Nightmare Legion, relied on the most. When the startling war drum was beaten, it could make the Xian Qi in the entire legion boil and increase their combat power by at least 30%. At this moment, Hui Yuanbai wanted to hold back the three of them on his own. Naturally, he couldn't hide his strength anymore. He used all of it in one move. Galaxy Spirit. As the Xian Qi in Hui Yuanbai's body boiled, the power of the divine characters burst out, forming a destructive current that cut off the path of Yang Guan, Yang Kong, and Zoli. If the three of them continued forward, they would be hit by the galaxy-piercing aura head-on. They had just attacked the ancient dragon skeleton tower and expended too much of their strength. At this moment, it was not a good choice to take the galaxy-piercing aura head-on. Thus the three stopped. Zoli turned his head viciously. "Old Hua, don't think that we're afraid of you. If you continue to pester us, don't blame us for being impolite. If you want to fight, just come at me." A smile appeared on Hui Yuanbai's face. To Zoli, that expression was asking for a beating. "You want to fight? We have the ancient dragon bone tower. If we can't beat them, we can just hide inside. What can you do to us? As for you, don't even think about running away." Zoli glared at Hui Yuanbai's shameless appearance, his eyes almost spitting fire. They were now stuck here, but Yang Guan and Yang Kong were fine. The Azura Duke couldn't do anything to them. But if the Azura Duke were to return and figure out the entire matter, then he, Zoli, would be dead for sure. In such a situation, Yang Guan and Yang Kong would not help him. They had helped him because they could benefit from it, but now that the plan to kill Hui Yuanbai had failed, their efforts were in vain, and they did not get any benefit. "Let's go. Charge out. A mere old man wants to stop us?" Wishful thinking. Deputy General Zoli was burly, but he only had the strength of 5 divine realm. There was nothing he could do against Hui Yuanbai's obstruction, so he could only rely on Yang Kong and Yang Guan. However, the two looked at the horizon and shook their heads. "It's too late. Even without Hui Yuanbai's obstruction, it won't be difficult for the Azura Duke to catch up to us. Not to mention, Hui Yuanbai is at his peak, while we've exhausted a lot of our strength. It'll be too difficult to break through his blockade." Yang Guan and Yang Kong could feel the Azura Duke's presence nearby. It was too late to escape now. Zoli's face paled. Too late? How is that possible? Madness flashed in his eyes as he looked at Hui Yuanbai. "Old Huo, let me go, and this Supreme Heaven-grade war flag combat weapon is yours." He took out a red war flag from his space weapon. It looked as if it had been dyed red with blood, emitting a thick stench of blood. "The Blood Shadow War Flag, Supreme Heaven Grade. It's the best combat weapon you have." Hui Yuanbai shook his head and smiled. "However, let the Duke distribute this combat weapon himself when he returns. I don't lack a Supreme Heaven-grade combat weapon." His words made Zoli's heart drop to the bottom. "General Hua, we're only following orders. Please forgive us. However, I hope we can bring this Zoli back to Liang County. We'll repay you handsomely in the future." Yang Guan, a martial practitioner from Liang County, looked at Hui Yuanbai and said calmly, "You wanted to kill me just a moment ago, and now you're negotiating with me? What a joke." Hui Yuanbai shook his head. "I only have one thing to say. When the Azura Duke returns, everything will be dealt with fairly." Looking at Hui Yuanbai's stubbornness, Zhou Li and the other two's faces darkened completely. Looking at the rolling dark clouds not far away and the earth-shattering aura getting closer, the three of them almost fell into despair. "General Hua, if that's the case, we'll take our leave now. Feel free to visit Liang County in the future. Brother, let's go," Yang Guan said as he gave his younger brother Yang Kong a look. Then, the two turned around and prepared to leave without bringing Deputy General Zhou Li with them. The Azura Duke was an extremely tyrannical person. Even if they were from Liang County, would the Azura Duke let them off so easily after doing something detrimental to Shura County? Since they couldn't bring Zhou Li with them, they'd better leave on their own. Deputy General Zhou Li's eyes looked like they were about to spit fire. "You too, you've taken so much money from me, and now you want to leave? Do you think it'll be that easy?" With that, Zhou Li's figure flashed and he appeared behind the two, blocking their way. "You want to leave? You'll have to get past me. General Hua, I, Zhou Li, have lost, so I won't think too much about it. It's just that these two didn't do anything after taking the deposit. We can't let them get away." Hui Yuanbai couldn't help but chuckle in his heart when he saw Zhou Li's actions. These three had turned against each other in the end. Fine, Hui Yuanbai didn't want any of them to get away. Connate mystique, galactic spirit. A strong current of air burst out and blocked Yang Guan and Yang Kong's path of retreat. "You want to leave? Wait until the Duke is here." Yang Guan and Yang Kong's faces turned green. Long Yu, who was inside the Dragon Bone Tower, let out a sigh of relief when he saw this. The Azura Duke was rushing back and would be here soon. Yang Guan, Yang Kong, and Zhou Li wouldn't be able to do anything in such a short time. The whole matter was finally resolved. Long Yu had played a very important role in this process. Most importantly, his Dragon Bone Tower had protected Hui Yuanbai several times. Long black clouds gathered in the sky as a black-robed king descended from the sky with a boundless aura. Under the Azura Duke's endless aura, Zhou Li, Yang Guan, and Yang Kong had no chance of escaping. The Duke of Ghost Evil was seriously injured by me and Concubine Mirror. I'm afraid he won't be able to recover in the next 10 years. The Azura Duke descended. Black clouds covered the sky and thunder rumbled. Just one sentence from him was enough to show that Duke Gui Xie had been severely injured, causing Yang Guan and Yang Kong's hearts to shiver. The Duke of Ghost Evil was injured. Ghost Evil County would definitely be weakened. The Nightmare Mountains would probably have to give way. That way, Azura County would be even more powerful. Liang County would probably be affected as well. Lil Hua, you did well this time. You will be rewarded according to your contributions. No need to say more. The Azura Duke's figure descended, and it didn't take long for him to hover not too far away from the crowd. Black clouds billowed around his body, making him look like a demon king that had just emerged from the depths of hell. Within the black clouds, one could faintly see the black robe he wore, as well as a pair of bright and sharp eyes. Zhou Li betrayed Shura County and worked with the Duke of Ghost Evil to frame General Hui Yuanbai. His crimes cannot be redeemed. Death. The Azura Duke's words made the burly Deputy General Zhou Li's face turn ashen. "Lord Duke, please don't. Our Zhou family has been loyal for generations. Even if I made a mistake this time, I should have a chance to make it up to you." However, before he could finish speaking, an Azura light blade slashed down from above, instantly splitting his body in half. Then, the power of Azura divine runes spread out, enveloping his entire body. With a loud bang, he was reduced to ashes in the wind. "You too, why are you still here?" The Azura Duke coldly snorted at Yang Guan and Yang Kong. Yang Guan and Yang Kong were originally trembling with fear, afraid that the Azura Duke would kill them in a fit of anger. But now, hearing this, they were overjoyed. The Azura Duke is magnanimous. The two of them cheered and flew away. Their speed was so fast that even Huoyuanbai couldn't help but gasp in amazement. Sure enough, in order to escape, one could stimulate their potential. Alright, where is that brat Long Yu now? After Yang Guan and Yang Kong left, the Azura Duke's voice softened. There was a hint of a smile on his face as he looked at Huoyuanbai. Duke, he is in the ancient pagoda. Huoyuanbai smiled and said, if it wasn't for little brother Long's ancient pagoda, this old man would have died a long time ago, ha ha. Not bad, this Duke saw it all. The Azura Duke nodded in satisfaction. The rolling black clouds finally began to dissipate, revealing his true form in a black robe. At this time, Long Yu naturally didn't need to hide in the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda anymore. He immediately put away the Dragon Bone Ancient Pagoda and flew to Huoyuanbai's side with Ren Pingfan. Long Yu looked ahead and saw a young man in a black robe walking over with a smile. From the rolling black clouds that had yet to dissipate, this person was the Azura Duke. Seeing the Azura Duke's face, Long Yu couldn't help but be stunned. This Azura Duke looked so young, only in his 20s. Long Yu, you were brought out by this Duke's daughter. I didn't expect you to make such a great contribution this time. Tell me, what reward do you want? Chapter 491. Of course, Long Yu's interest was not piqued by the Shura Duke's handsomeness. He was wondering how the Shura Duke knew that he had something to do with all this, and that he had made a great contribution. However, the Shura Duke was a warrior of the Emperor Path, and was much stronger than Long Yu. Long Yu would not be able to comprehend all the tricks he had up his sleeve. Therefore, it was not strange that the Shura Duke knew about this. I don't need any reward. It's just that my father went to a dangerous place on the Heavenly Mandate Island, the Heaven Prison Thunderbolt Pool. Could you help me check it out? Long Yu looked at the Shura Duke. This time, he had made a great contribution, so he did not hesitate and made his request straightforwardly. The Shura Duke's eyes brightened and he laughed. My daughter was right. You would make such a request. However, you have to think about it carefully. Long Yu frowned and asked, Senior, can't you go to the Heaven Prison Thunderbolt Pool? Of course not. However, your father has been there for more than 20 years. It's very unlikely that he is still alive. The Shura Duke shook his head with a smile and said, If I enter and find nothing, you won't get anything, right? This great contribution is enough for you to pick any heaven-grade martial skill from the Shura Valley's Martial Skill Pavilion. Even if you want a heaven-grade weapon, I can give you more than one. I don't lack heaven-grade weapons and martial skills. Therefore, they are not that useful to me. Long Yu shook his head. What he said was the truth. Out of all the martial skills he cultivated, he had 2 moves of the Desolate grade martial skill. It was enough for him. What he needed to do next was to deepen his comprehension of the Underworld Dragon 9 explosions and the ancient Desolate Shadow Kill. As for the war weapons, he had the Dragon Bone Tower for defense and the Netherworld Dragon Blade for offense. To Long Yu, these 2 war weapons were more than enough. He could not even utilize the full power of these 2 war weapons, let alone the other war weapons. Hearing Long Yu's words, the Shura Duke's handsome face revealed a meaningful smile. Looks like heaven-ranked weapons and martial skills really can't move you. The Azura Duke waved his hand dismissively. Since that's the case, what do you think if this Duke wishes to take you as my disciple? If you become my disciple, you will have all the cultivation resources you need. Heaven-grade combat weapons, martial skills, you can get whatever you want. Furthermore, if there is a great desolation warrior weapon or a divine rune seal, I will bring you there first, and give you some guidance on martial arts. In this way, your martial arts journey will be smooth. What do you think? The temptation of this condition was much greater than a mere heaven-rank martial skill and combat weapon. Even Huoyuanbai was a little surprised. This was the first time the regional king had made such a request to a junior. It was obvious that the regional king admired Long Yu a lot. Long Yu's expression changed slightly when he heard this. The Azura Duke was actually willing to accept him as a disciple? Not only could they provide all kinds of cultivation resources, but they could also have the opportunity to snatch great desolate-level warrior weapons or supreme treasures like divine rune engravings. This condition was extremely generous. If it was any other young man in the Shura County, they would agree without hesitation. Unfortunately, Long Yu was not an ordinary man. He had his own understanding of the martial arts journey, and he did not want to rely on others, not even the Azura Duke from the Emperor Road's secret realm. Long Yu knew that there were existences stronger than the Emperor Road's secret realm, such as the mysterious woman Consort Yu that he had seen many times in his memories. The beast from the Emperor Road's secret realm had been turned into ashes by Consort Yu with a single move. It was obvious that Consort Yu's strength was much stronger than the Emperor Road's secret realm. Thank you for your kindness, Senior Duke. However, I would rather Senior help me find my father's whereabouts. Long Yu shook his head. What a pity. The Azura Duke strode forward with a handsome smile on his face. Long Yu, I didn't expect you to be so resolute. In that case, if this Duke were to give you the position of the next Azura Duke, and betroth my daughter Shu-chan to you, would you be willing? Hui Yuanbai's eyes widened involuntarily when he heard this. This was simply unimaginable. The Azura Duke had actually given the position of the next Duke and his own daughter to Long Yu? Long Yu was slightly startled when he heard this. Shu-chan's lively and beautiful face flashed across his mind, and he recalled the humiliation he had suffered after coming to the Shura County. At that moment, Long Yu felt a strong desire for the position of the Azura Duke. If he could become the Azura Duke, or even the next Azura Duke, who would dare to plot against him in the valley where the Azura sacred tree was located and try to kill him silently? If he agreed to the Azura Duke's condition, he would immediately become a big shot in the entire Shura County. He would even be able to stand on equal footing with Shu-chan. A ball of fire ignited in Long Yu's heart, causing him to almost become hot-headed and agree to the Azura Duke's condition. After all, this condition was beneficial to Long Yu. If it was anyone else, they would agree to it without any hesitation. As for his father, the Azura Duke had said that he had been trapped in the heavenly prison Thunderbolt Pool for more than 20 years. The possibility of him still being alive was next to nothing. If that was the case, why not? At that moment, Long Yu's heart turned cold and he broke out in a cold sweat. What just happened? Why did I have such a thought? Naturally, Long Yu would not agree to the Azura Duke's condition. Regardless of whether it was the Azura Duke or Shu-chan, they were nothing to him. However, just now, for some unknown reason, a certain weak thought that had arisen in his heart was magnified infinitely, causing him to almost make a choice that went against his will. When he came to his senses, he suddenly realized that this was the third heart tribulation of the human tribulation realm. Human tribulation realm martial cultivators had to go through 3 heart tribulations. It was not difficult to go through these heart tribulations, but for those with weak willpower, it was extremely difficult. Everyone's heart tribulations were different. Long Yu's third heart tribulation was to tempt his inner demon. This tempting heart demon was directly triggered by the words and actions of the Azura Duke in front of him. Senior Duke, I still choose to go to the heavenly prison Thunderbolt Pool to search for my father's whereabouts. Long Yu's eyes became extremely determined. He lifted his head and looked at the Azura Duke. Ha 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 ha! Seeing this, the Azura Duke laughed out loud. Not bad, not bad. Not only are you talented in martial arts, your luck is also enviable. Most importantly, you have a strong willpower. In the face of such temptation, you did not change your mind. If it was someone else, I'm afraid it would be too difficult for them to do so. Senior Duke, are you purposely triggering my inner demon so that I can go through the heart tribulation? Asked Long Yu with a smile. Not bad. You can tell? The Azura Duke raised his eyebrows and said with interest, "You have a good eye." "Thank you, Senior." Long Yu cupped his fist. This was the first time they met, but the Azura Duke had already successfully triggered his third heart tribulation, allowing him to successfully pass the bottleneck of the human tribulation realm. As long as he absorbed enough spiritual energy, he could attempt to break through to the heavenly beginning realm. Once he reached the heavenly beginning realm, his strength would be much stronger. "What are you thanking me for? You were able to pass this test because of your strong willpower. Even without me, you would have passed this test sooner or later." The Azura Duke waved his hand. "I only allowed you to take this step a little earlier. Duke, this old man is curious. If this dragon boy really fell for the trap and chose to become the next Duke, and even wanted to marry the princess, what would you do?" Hou Yuanbai asked with a smile. He seemed to be quite curious. It's not impossible for him to marry this Duke's daughter. He also has a chance to become the next Duke. However, before he wants to obtain it, he naturally has to pay a price. At the very least, he would have to undergo some tests from this Duke. The Azura Duke said with a smile, "These tests are not simple. If he succeeds, this Duke will naturally admire him." "Ahem, the Duke's tests are naturally not simple." Hou Yuanbai coughed and said casually. In his heart, he was thinking, fortunately, this kid is smart enough to overcome his inner demon. Otherwise, if he really agreed to the Duke's words, the tests would definitely take his life. All right, this matter is settled. Let's go back. The Azura Duke raised his hand and led the crowd back. "Duke, please wait a moment. The campsite below has suffered heavy losses. This general still has to stay here and deal with the aftermath." Hou Yuanbai did not leave with the crowd. Instead, he prepared to deal with the aftermath in the campsite below. At the very least, he had to calm the effects of this storm. Go. The Azura Prefecture King nodded his head. With a wave of his hand, a black cloud rose and brought Long Yu and little Fatty Rin Pingfan toward the Azura Valley. Although Long Yu had only been here for less than 2 months, he had made a great contribution and received the Azura Duke's reward. When he returned to the Azura Valley, no one would dare to do anything to Long Yu. Not only that, the Azura Duke seemed to already know that someone had schemed against Long Yu and thrown him into the Azura Holy Trees Valley. Regarding this, the Azura Duke naturally had to investigate this thoroughly. When the time came, he would give Long Yu an explanation. When you return, cultivate well. The Azura County's selection is just around the corner. If you can emerge victorious, you will be able to enter my Azura County's sacred ground. If you are fated, it is not impossible for you to obtain desolate-level martial skills or weapons. The Azura Duke's words caused Long Yu and little Fatty Rin Pingfan's hearts to skip a beat. Desolate-level combat weapons and martial skills. Chapter 492. A powerhouse from the Imperial Road Mystic Realm could fly at a terrifying speed. In less than 2 to 4 hours, the Azura Duke brought Long Yu and Ren Pingfan back to the vicinity of Azura Valley. What surprised Long Yu was that in the sky near the Azura Valley, there was a group of 1,000 people hovering in the air, as if they were waiting for their return. Azura Yongchang, the Undying Duke. When the Azura Duke brought the two of them closer, the group of more than 1,000 people instantly shouted out. Their voices shook the heavens, almost shattering Long Yu's eardrums. This power, no wonder they're here to welcome the Imperial Road Hidden Territory cultivators. When Long Yu saw this situation, his heart couldn't help but tremble. He saw that at the head of the crowd, there were many familiar people. For example, Shu Chan. Her eyebrows were curved, her charming face was filled with a smile as she looked at him. Near the Princess Shu Chan was a veiled woman in a silver dress. She held a silver mirror and waited in the crowd. She was one of the Azura Duke's concubines, Yin Jing. However, she wasn't Shu Chan's biological mother. Aside from these two, Tian Xinghe, Bai Qing, and the others that Long Yu had met before were also there. It was obvious that the Duke's expedition to the Ghost Evil County was a big event for the entire Azura Valley. Almost all the important people were here. Everyone, this time, with the help of Concubine Mirror, I injured the Ghost Evil County Duke. He won't be able to recover for at least 10 years. With a smile on his face, the Shura Prefecture King flew closer to the crowd and announced the result of this battle. After the Shura selection ends in 2 months, I will prepare to conquer the Nightmare Mountain Range in the Ghost Evil County and make the entire Nightmare Mountain Range part of our Shura County. Azura Yongchang, the Undying Duke. Hearing this, the crowd cheered even louder. They all hated the Ghost Evil County for a long time. Now that they heard that the Azura Duke injured the Ghost Evil County Duke, they were all excited. However, there were some people in the crowd who didn't look too good. They seemed to be out of tune with the people around them. Long Yu also notices this group of people. He squints his eyes. There are more than 10 people in this group. Each of them looks a bit like Zhou Xiongliang and Zhou Li. It seems that they all belong to the Zhou family. The leader of the group was clad in golden armor. He had a majestic stature and a crescent blade hung from his waist. He was the leader of the Zhou family. Of course, he was the Zhou family's patriarch, the deputy commander of the Azura Valley's Imperial Army, Zhou Fang. At this moment, Zhou Fang was glaring angrily at Long Yu, as if he had a big problem with Long Yu. After all, the news of Long Yu killing his son, Zhou Xiongliang, had reached his ears a few days ago. How could he not hate Long Yu? Of Zhou Fang's 4 sons, 2 had already died, and it was impossible for him to avenge them. Now that another one had died, he was furious to the extreme. If it wasn't for the Azura Duke, Zhou Fang definitely wouldn't let Long Yu go. Of course, Zhou Fang wouldn't act rashly unless he was tired of living. What a joke! Would he dare to touch a young man that the Azura Duke had taken a liking to? In Azura County, the Duke was the undisputed ruler. Everyone else had to obey the Duke. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a good ending. Commander Zhou, you don't look too good. Is there a problem? The Azura Duke naturally noticed Zhou Fang's gloomy expression. He glanced at him and asked calmly, "May I be so bold as to ask how Zhou Li is doing?" The deputy commander of the Imperial Army, Zhou Fang, immediately bowed in response to the Azura Duke's question. The Devil Legion's Deputy General Zhou Li colluded with the Duke of Ghost Evil to frame General Hui Yuanbai. This is a traitor and he has been executed by me. The Azura Duke said bluntly. The faces of the Zhou family darkened at his words. Although Zhou Li was the culprit, there might be other members of the Zhou family involved. If Zhou Li was killed just like that, the people behind him would be in grave danger. Of course, the Azura Duke didn't have any evidence, so he couldn't kill all the Zhou family members in one fell swoop. However, there were still some clues that could be found. There might be more victims in the near future. When the Silver Mirror returned, everyone roughly understood the situation. It turned out that a human tribulation realm kid, Long Yu, had saved General Hui Yuanbai. This shocked everyone. The Zhou family hated Long Yu to the core. After all, Zhou Li's plans had all been ruined by Long Yu. If Long Yu didn't have the great desolate level combat weapon, the ancient Dragon Bone Tower, how could the Duke of Ghost Evil not have killed Hui Yuanbai? As long as Hui Yuanbai died, there would be no evidence. The Duke of Ghost Evil would have enough evidence to prove that Hui Yuanbai had betrayed Shura County. Unfortunately, under the protection of Long Yu's ancient Dragon Bone Tower, Hui Yuanbai was safe. Even the Duke of Ghost Evil had failed to destroy the ancient Dragon Bone Tower in a short period of time. The Liang counties Yangguan and Yangkong would never be able to do it. In this battle, the young hero Long Yu, although he hasn't been in Azura County for long, he displayed outstanding courage and insight, as well as outstanding combat talent. Furthermore, he protected great General Hui Yuanbai from death. The Azura Duke took out a shining medal. It looked like a precious diamond. This was a first-class medal. It represented the honor of Shura County, and was also a heaven-level combat weapon. In the entire Shura County, Long Yu was the first person to receive a first-class medal at such a young age. Many people were jealous of him. A first-class medal was the proof of honor, and it represented the Azura Duke's protection. If Long Yu had been killed by someone else on a normal day, the Azura Duke would definitely avenge him. Whoever killed Long Yu would definitely pay with their life. There would be no mercy. This made the faces of the Zhou family members even darker. Now that Long Yu had a first-class medal, it would not be easy for them to kill Long Yu. However, in the end, Long Yu could not sit back and relax. Normally, Long Yu was protected by the Azura Duke, but under certain circumstances, he could not be protected. For example, when he was participating in the Shura selection or when he was participating in a group training mission. If Long Yu was killed, the Azura Duke would not seek revenge for Long Yu. After all, if he was absolutely safe, it would have a negative impact on Long Yu's cultivation. Also, if Long Yu was protected during the Shura selection, it would be unfair to the others. Alright, you can all go now. The Azura Duke waved his hand, and the group of over 1,000 people dispersed. Before they left, they were still chattering. The fact that Duke Guixia was injured this time was a good thing for all the cultivators in Shura County. On top of that, a human tribulation realm young cultivator had saved General Hui Yuanbai's life, and even received a first-class medal from the Azura Duke. It was shocking. It seemed like another young cultivator in Shura County was about to rise. The Shura Prefecture King handed the first-class medal to Long Yu, smiled and said, "This first-class medal, other than being a symbol of honor, it also represents the protection of me, the Shura Prefecture King. It is also a high-ranked heaven-ranked combat weapon, and its defensive capabilities are not bad. You can take a good look at it." Thank you, Senior Duke." Long Yu nodded and took the first-class medal. He discovered that the entire medal was actually sparkling with a diamond-like brilliance. The whole thing was actually made of cyan diamond, and there were even more precious materials added to it. The defensive ability of such a medal was definitely much stronger than the silver prism lock that Long Yu had previously obtained. After all, the silver prism lock that Hui Yuanbai had forged himself was only an earth upper-grade lock, and it was only slightly mixed with a green diamond. But this first-class medal was basically made of green-edged diamond. One could imagine its sturdiness. In this metal, apart from the cyan-edged diamond, there's also a resplendent diamond. The Azura Duke looked at Long Yu, who seemed to be studying the metal. He smiled and explained, "The resplendent diamond is a supplementary material used to forge desolate-grade warrior weapons. It is extremely rare, and rarely used on heaven-grade warriors. This first-class metal represents the honor of Azura County. Therefore, it is impossible for martial cultivators who have not reached the Emperor Path Arcane Realm to destroy it. As for how strong the defensive barrier is, it will depend on your personal strength." Long Yu nodded. Now he knew another precious material, the resplendent diamond, was actually a supplementary material used to forge desolate-grade warrior weapons. Unfortunately, the entire Azura County seemed to be unable to forge desolate-grade warrior weapons. This supplementary material could only be used to forge heaven-grade upper-grade first-class metals. Also, this warrior weapon is for you to play with. After the Azura Duke finished his explanation, he took out a Blood Shadow War flag from the space combat weapon in his robe. This flag was obtained from Deputy General Zoli, and was kept by the Azura Duke. Long Yu remembered that this was a heaven-grade superior-grade warrior weapon, which was even higher than a first-class medal. "Let me play with it?" Long Yu took the Blood Shadow War flag doubtfully. "Going to the Heaven Prison Thunderbolt Pool to look for your father is just a piece of cake for me. Compared to what you have done this time, a first-class medal is still a little lacking. I will make up for it with this Blood Shadow War flag." The Azura Duke's lips curled up slightly. Then, a dark cloud rolled over and brought him and Yinjing away. At this moment, Shu Chan finally flew in front of Long Yu while giggling. "You're really something." The young county princess patted Long Yu's shoulder and giggled. "You've only been gone for a few days, and you've already done such a great thing. Even I didn't expect this. That Zoli was just courting death." Chapter 493. Little Fatty followed behind Long Yu, feeling a little unbalanced. However, on second thought, he really hadn't done much in the entire incident. He had only followed Long Yu and hid in the ancient dragon bone tower. Thinking about it this way, he really hadn't contributed much. "Pingfan, my father just asked me to inform you to go to the main hall later. He has something to talk to you about." Just as Little Fatty was feeling a little unbalanced, Shu Chan suddenly said to him. This sentence made Little Fatty Rin Pingfan overjoyed. "Hee, alright, Your Highness." That was to say, even if he hadn't contributed much, he had still put in a lot of effort. Moreover, Long Yu had only been able to reach the Ghost Evil region so quickly because he had steered the Azura spirit boat. "Your Highness, this is for you." Long Yu thought for a moment, then took out the Azura spirit boat from the ancient dragon bone tower and handed it to Shu Chan. This was Shu Chan's thing. He couldn't just swallow it like that. "No need to return it to me, you can use it yourself. I have many good things, otherwise I wouldn't have given it to you." The little princess, Shu Chan, however, waved her hand and didn't accept it. Long Yu thought about it and agreed. Since Shu Chan didn't want the Azura spirit boat, then he would take it. In any case, this little princess didn't lack good things. In this way, Long Yu had obtained many good things on this trip to the Nightmare Mountains. Not only had he dug up over 100 cyan-edged diamonds at the Nightmare Mountains, Hui Yuanbai had also given him an Earth-grade combat weapon, Silver Edgelock. Now, he had directly obtained 3 powerful Heaven-grade combat weapons. The bountiful harvest made Little Fatty's eyes red with envy. Long Yu was secretly amused at the sight. He actually wanted to give the Blood Shadow War flag that he had no use for to Rin Pingfan. However, when he thought about it, the Azura Duke had called Rin Pingfan to the main hall to give him a reward. There was no need for Long Yu to give him the Blood Shadow War flag. In comparison, the Shura general election was about to begin, and Long Yu was likely to meet his old friends from Heavenly Mandate Island. It seemed better to give them the Blood Shadow War flag. After all, the little Fatty Rin Pingfan had been with the Princess Shu Chan for a long time, so he must have a lot of good stuff with him. However, those friends of Long Yu on the Heavenly Mandate Island didn't even have Earth-level soldiers. With this thought in mind, Long Yu dispelled this idea and put away the Azura spirit boat and the Blood Shadow War flag. "Princess, little brother Long, I'll be going to see the regional king now. I'll take my leave first." When the little Fatty Rin Pingfan saw that Long Yu had put away so many good things, he couldn't help but feel an itch in his heart. He was anxious to know what the Azura Duke would give him, so he immediately took his leave and flew toward the Azura Valley. Seeing the little fatty's impatience, Long Yu and Shu Chan looked at each other and smiled. "Let's go back too," Shu Chan said to Long Yu and turned to leave. However, when she turned around, she saw many people blocking her way. She couldn't help but frown. The people blocking her and Long Yu were mainly Tianxinghe, Bai Qing, and some of their subordinate. The two of them were full of smiles, which made Shu Chan embarrassed to reprimand them. She just asked, "Eldest senior brother, fourth senior sister, what brings you here?" When Tianxinghe heard this, he smiled and said, "Princess, why are you treating us like outsiders? We are here to congratulate little brother Long Yu on his great achievement and receiving a first-class medal. This is an honor that even we have never received." However, Bai Qing smiled charmingly and glanced at Long Yu. This Long Yu seems to be quite talented and strong. Most importantly, he is very smart. "Princess, you have a good eye." After the two of them finished talking, a man in gray who wore simple clothes scratched his head and smiled. "Princess, long time no see." The little princess, Shu Chan, did not have a good impression of Tian Xinghe and Bai Qing. However, when she saw the man in gray, her face lit up with joy. "Third senior brother, you are back." "Yes." The sturdy gray-robed man smiled as he nodded his head. After which, he raised his head and looked at Long Yu. "This little brother is not simple. He's even more powerful than me. He's so young yet, he's able to obtain the recognition of the Royal Duke and even obtained a first-class medal." "Third senior brother, that's where you're wrong." Bai Qing smiled charmingly. "No matter what, this Long Yu is just a subordinate. How can he be compared to you? Even if he is the princess's subordinate, he is no match for you." "That may not be true." The man in gray shook his head and smiled. "Long Yu, my name is Su Hanshan. I look forward to meeting you at the Shura selection in 2 months. "Hello, Brother Su." Long Yu felt that Su Hanshan was quite kind. He was much better than Tian Xinghe and Bai Qing. Also, it seemed that Su Hanshan's martial realm was higher than Tian Xinghe and Bai Qing's. He had not seen Su Hanshan recently. Maybe he was training outside. "You are just a subordinate. What right do you have to call third senior brother?" Seeing Long Yu's expression, Bai Qing felt that he deserved a beating. She pouted and said, "Do you think you are great just because you received a first-class medal? And you are not just a Tribulation Realm kid?" Hearing this, Long Yu narrowed his eyes. He did not know what was going on with Bai Qing. Why did she dislike him so much? As soon as they met, she asked her subordinate to challenge him. However, she was defeated by the talented Long Yu. Now, even though Long Yu had been rewarded by the Shura Prefecture King, Bai Qing still disliked him. Could it be that she was jealous of him? Long Yu thought that Bai Qing was probably jealous of the princess, Shu Chan. However, she could not be rude to Shu Chan. That was why she was targeting him. This made Long Yu unhappy. Did he look so easy to bully? Without waiting for Shu Chan to speak, Long Yu stared at Bai Qing and said, "Since you look down on me so much, why don't you let your subordinate fight me again? As long as it is an opponent in the Heaven Realm, I, Long Yu, will fight them all." Bai Qing smiled with disdain. "So what if you beat my subordinate? Aren't you just a subordinate? I, Bai Qing, look down on you. Is that wrong?" Fourth senior sister. At this time, Shu Chan finally spoke. She took a step forward and faced Bai Qing. At the same time, she said, "Since you said so, how about we make a bet? In the Shura selection in 2 months, Long Yu's ranking will be higher than yours. Do you believe it?" "Haha, this brat wants to surpass me in the Shura selection? What wishful thinking." Bai Qing disdainfully smiled. "Princess, since you took the initiative to say so, how can I, Bai Qing, refuse? Let's do it this way. If my ranking is lower than your subordinate, Long Yu, in the Shura selection, I, Bai Qing, will take a detour when I see him in the future. How about it? This is what you said. If Long Yu defeats you, you are not allowed to appear wherever he is." Shu Chan narrowed her eyes. "It's a deal. I, Bai Qing, will naturally keep my promise. However, what if Long Yu loses?" Bai Qing stared at Long Yu and said coldly, "Then I will take a detour when I see you." Long Yu said casually, "Since it was a bet, the stakes should be relatively fair." To be honest, there was nothing wrong with the stakes being the same. However, Bai Qing was unhappy. "I, Bai Qing, as the regional king's disciple, made a bet with you. It is your honor. If you lose, do you think this is acceptable?" Bai Qing said indifferently and looked at Shu Chan. "Princess, my request is not excessive. If Long Yu loses, you can just ask him to hand over the first-class medal." "This request is not excessive?" Su Hanshan, who was standing to the side, blushed with shame. He felt that his fourth junior sister wasn't being honest. He immediately said, "Fourth junior sister, the first-class medal is given by the regional king himself. How can it be casually used in a bet? How about this, if Brother Long loses to you, I, Su Hanshan, will take it?" Third senior brother, you, Bai Qing frowned. She didn't expect Sohanshan to say this. I, Sohanshan, don't have anything else. However, if Brother Long loses to you, I, Sohanshan, will owe you a request. Fourth junior sister, I will do anything for this request. How about it? Sohanshan said resolutely. Okay, it's a deal. A cold light flashed in Bai Qing's eyes. She thought, third brother, since you trust Long Yu so much, I will crush him in the Shura selection and make you regret it. Hee, a small bet is good for the mood, but a big bet is bad for the body. We are just adjusting our mood. Princess, don't mind it too much. Tian Xinghe smiled and said, if there is nothing else, Xinghe will leave first. Okay, have a good trip. Shu Chan said indifferently as she glanced at the Heavenly Star River. She mainly observed the Heavenly Star River's eyes. Tian Xinghe seemed to have noticed something. He smiled and turned around to leave with his subordinate. Remember your bet. Bai Qing looked at Long Yu and smiled disdainfully. Then she turned around and left with her subordinate. Princess, if you have time, come visit me. Long time no see. You are getting more and more beautiful. Ha! Sohanshan said straightforwardly. Then he looked at Long Yu and said, Brother Long, if you have the chance, come with me. I will definitely take good care of you. Of course. Shu Chan looked at Sohanshan and smiled sincerely. She really admired Sohanshan. He trained hard and always went out to experience the world. His goal was to increase his martial realm and battle experience. He was much better than Tian Xinghe and Bai Qing, who were idling in Shura Valley. Sohanshan also left alone. Only Long Yu and Shu Chan were left in the sky. They looked at the back of the crowd. After a while, they disappeared from their sight. How was it? Long Yu, did you see Tian Xinghe's eyes? Was it him? Shu Chan suddenly asked. His eyes are very similar. It can even be said that they are exactly the same. However, there is nothing in common in other places in temperament. Long Yu thought for a while and shook his head. Chapter 494. As for Shu Chan's question, Long Yu obviously knew what she meant. As one of Shu Chan's subordinates, Long Yu was tricked into entering the valley where the Azura sacred tree was. If it weren't for Long Yu having a treasure like the Dragon Bone Tower, he would have already been killed by the Azura sacred tree. With something like this happening, Shu Chan naturally wanted to find out who the culprit was. These past few days, aside from trying to break through to Fourth Thaumaturgy realm, she also investigated who had the authority to open the valley barrier where the Azura sacred tree was. I went to ask my father and found out that eldest senior brother Tian Xinghe had a younger brother called Tian Yue, but this person should have died 10 years ago. He was the same as Tian Xinghe, an orphan raised by my father, but he didn't take him as a disciple, Shu Chan said with a frown. Tian Yue is Tian Xinghe's younger brother. Long Yu also frowned, then asked, if this person is still alive, then it's most likely him. Princess, how did Tian Yue die? He was killed by an official of the Tianqin dynasty while he was training outside. Shu Chan shook her head. My father also confirmed this, so it shouldn't be wrong. Maybe he's still alive. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. Right now, Long Yu was almost certain that Tian Yue was still alive, and that even the Azura Duke didn't know about it. As for why Tian Xinghe hid this information, it was obviously because he wanted Tian Yue to hide in the shadows and do some unspeakable things. This kind of method was very common for Long Yu. As for Tian Yue's death, in a chaotic place like Shen Wu World, it could be easily fabricated. I don't know yet, but Long Yu, I have high hopes for you in the Azura selection in 2 months. Shu Chan's eyes flashed with a mischievous glint as she looked at Long Yu with a smile. You can't let me down. You have to be ranked above 4th senior sister. Speaking of this, Long Yu felt a little strange. Originally, he only wanted to provoke Bai Qing and have her send another subordinate to challenge him. However, He didn't expect that Shu Chan would directly follow up and shift the battlefield to the Azura selection. Princess, what are the rules of the Azura selection? How do we rank them? Long Yu was somewhat puzzled as he asked. I still don't know the rules, so I don't have any confidence in beating Bai Qing. No matter what was said, Bai Qing was already an expert in the divine ability secret realm. It wouldn't be easy for Long Yu to deal with her. Moreover, it was impossible for Long Yu to break through to the divine ability secret realm in 2 short months. At most, it would be good if he could reach Heaven Realm. If he fought against Bai Qing head-on, he would definitely lose. In fact, he would not even be able to fight back. Under such circumstances, Shu Chan actually helped him make a bet with Bai Qing. There must be some special rules of the Azura selection. Long Yu knew that since Shu Chan had said it, he still had a chance of beating Bai Qing. Therefore, he followed Shu Chan's words and continued to make a bet with Bai Qing. But now, he was really curious about the rules of the Azura selection. The Azura selection is very simple. Shu Chan's eyes curved into crescent moons as if she had thought of something funny. As long as you are a martial cultivator in the Azura County under the age of 40, you can participate in the Azura selection. In the end, the top 100 experts will be qualified to enter the Azura County's Holy Land and obtain great opportunities. As for the specific rules, the first round is to test your attribute. The second round is to fight with your mirror clone. Only by defeating your mirror clone will you be qualified to participate in the third round. As for the rules of the third round, all qualified martial cultivators will enter a dream world and fight in the dream world. At this point, a crafty glint flashed in Shu Chan's eyes. Long Yu, this dream realm is practically tailor-made for you. In this dream realm, all martial cultivators will be forcefully suppressed to the early human realm. In other words, even if a divine ability realm expert enters this dream realm, they will only have the strength of the early human realm. Forcefully suppress one's cultivation. Long Yu raised his eyebrows. This was the first time he had heard of such a thing. After all, this is a dream realm. Anything can happen. Forcefully suppressing the cultivation of martial cultivators isn't impossible. Shu Chan's expression was slightly gloomy. This dream realm was created by my mother in the past. Unfortunately, an accident happened to my mother right after she finished creating it. I see. Long Yu nodded. Seeing that Shu Chan wasn't in a good mood, he didn't say anything else. However, Shu Chan quickly adjusted her mood and smiled at Long Yu. Alright, there are 2 months left for you to prepare. I heard that you have passed the 3 heart tribulations of the human tribulation realm. Try to break through to the early heaven realm in these 2 months. Yes, Your Highness. Long Yu nodded in agreement. Of course, Long Yu wasn't willing to be someone else's subordinate. Unruliness was his most fundamental character. However, Shu Chan didn't put on any airs when dealing with him. He didn't need to be on tenterhooks when communicating with Shu Chan. It was quite relaxing for him to think more about trivial things. Because of this, Long Yu tacitly agreed to be Shu Chan's subordinate. However, when Long Yu's martial arts realm reached a certain level, he definitely wouldn't be willing to be Shu Chan's subordinate. Long Yu had already vaguely expressed this to Shu Chan. At that time, Long Yu said that he was very ambitious, but Shu Chan didn't care. Instead, she said that she was also very ambitious, which puzzled Long Yu. Soon, Long Yu returned to the elegant and tranquil courtyard that Shu Chan arranged for him. This time, Long Yu absolutely wouldn't run out rashly unless he saw Shu Chan. Moreover, he still had to seize the time to break through the bottleneck and improve his realm. He didn't have so much time to wander around. After Shu Chan sent him back, she left, and Long Yu directly took the great desolate grade pill, the worldly golden pill, in the courtyard. The worldly golden pill contained more spiritual energy than the 9 heaven grade pills of the Heaven 9 Universe pill combined. If Long Yu didn't have the nether dragon blade to store the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, he would definitely only be able to absorb less than 20% of it. But now, he could rely on the nether void dragon blade to store the spiritual energy of heaven and earth within the mortal golden core, and when he needed to use it, he could slowly absorb it. It was extremely convenient, and he could make full use of it without a trace of wastage. This was a reward given to Bai Qing by the Azura Duke after she had performed a meritorious deed. Unfortunately, she had lost it to Long Yu because of a bet. Amazing! After taking the worldly golden pill, Long Yu felt his whole body bathed in the rich spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and his whole body felt extremely comfortable. He used most of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth to refine the veins of heaven and earth. Soon, he felt that the connection between the veins of heaven and earth became closer, and it was rapidly transforming. The difference between the human realm and the heavenly realm in the heavenly realm was that once a martial cultivator stepped into the heavenly realm, they could borrow the power of the laws of heaven and earth more than tenfold. A heavenly origin martial cultivator had no problem dealing with 10 ordinary human tribulation martial cultivators. From this, one could see the changes that would occur when one stepped into the heavenly realm. And the key to this was the veins of heaven. The veins of heaven were the most important thing for a martial cultivator to improve in the martial Tao. The key to improving the martial Tao was to improve the compatibility between the veins of heaven and earth. As a matter of fact, when a martial cultivator had not stepped into the heavenly realm, the veins of heaven and earth should not be called veins of heaven. They should be called human veins. In essence, the veins of heaven and earth were only connected to the heavens and earth, and could not be merged with it. If the veins of heaven and earth could be completely merged with the heavens and earth, they could be called veins of heaven. The veins of heaven and earth could be used to borrow the terrifying power of the laws of heaven and earth in an instant. Long Yu did not feel the terror of a heavenly realm expert before, because he had comprehended the strongest law in the world, the law of 9 serenities, as well as the divine rune with the word serenity. He also possessed various martial skills and battle weapons, which allowed him to crush heavenly realm experts. But now, when Long Yu personally tried to merge the veins of heaven and earth, the feeling made him feel extremely comfortable, and he could not stop even if he wanted to. At this moment, he felt like he had turned into a tiny blade of grass, drifting with the wind in the vast sky. He could feel the terrifying power of the laws of heaven and earth in the air. Sunlight, growth, water flow, wind, everything contained the power of the laws of heaven and earth. As long as one could master the laws of heaven and earth, it meant that he had comprehended the truth of the world. Through the veins of heaven and earth, he could borrow the power of the laws of heaven and earth. In just 3 days and 3 nights, Long Yu had broken through the bottleneck and successfully merged the veins of heaven and earth with the heavens and earth, turning the veins of heaven and earth into a real veins of heaven. Law of 9 serenities. Long Yu stood up and threw a punch with the power of the laws of 9 serenities. He immediately felt that the power of this punch was more than 10 times stronger than before. As he threw the punch, the surrounding air seemed to be corroded by the 9 serenities chi, and a pitch-black 9 serenities chi instantly spread out along with his punch. With this punch, Long Yu was confident that he could use it to fight against a heavenly flower realm expert. Of course, if he wanted to fight against a heavenly tribulation realm expert, Long Yu still had to use a great desolate martial technique and combat weapon. Otherwise, the difference in their basic strength would be too great, and it would be impossible for him to win. During the Azura selection, the dreamscape forcefully suppressed the cultivation of all martial cultivators to the human origin realm. This is undoubtedly a great advantage for me, Long Yu thought to himself. He had never been afraid of anyone in the same realm as him. Although he did not know what the final ranking was based on, since Shu Chan had already explained the basic rules of the dreamscape, there should not be any big problems. Chapter 495. After Long Yu reached the Heaven Realm, his overall strength had increased tremendously. Although he was still unable to fight against experts in the Divinity Realm, he was one of the strongest among those in the Heavenly Being Realm. Even ordinary Heavenly Tribulation Realm martial cultivators were no match for him. Then, without wasting any time, he began to comprehend the ancient primordial shadow kill. The Azura selection forcefully suppressed everyone's cultivation to the human initial realm, and then allowed them to fight in the dreamscape. The final ranking would definitely be related to the fights. In that case, Long Yu had to comprehend the ancient primordial shadow kill as soon as possible. If he could improve this desolate level assassination martial skill and form a second ancient primordial shadow before the Azura selection, Long Yu's combat strength would double. Every ancient primordial shadow's combat strength was equivalent to Long Yu's. At most, they could not duplicate the battle weapon, but they were almost identical in other aspects. If Long Yu could form two ancient primordial shadow kill, it would mean that there were three Long Yus fighting enemies at the same time. One could imagine how powerful it would be. Moreover, as an assassination martial skill, the ancient primordial shadow kill could strengthen the effects of the hidden divine rune once it was comprehended to the greater mastery realm, allowing him to hide himself better. He did not know if fighting in the dreamscape would really be life-threatening, but no matter what, he had to kill more to get a higher ranking. If he wanted to kill more, the most important thing was to live longer. To Long Yu, survival was far more important than killing. In his mind, survival had always been his number one priority. The best way to comprehend martial skills was not through seclusion, but through actual combat. In the absence of actual combat, sparring with experts was also a good method. However, if one really wanted to train, even sparring would have to be an extremely intense battle, which was still quite dangerous. At that moment, Long Yu thought of the little fatty Ren Pingfan who lived next door. Ren Pingfan had obtained a chance to enter the higher levels of the martial skill tower from the Azura Prefecture King and chose an acquired divine skill. Even though experts in the secret realm of divinity could learn innate mystic arts, they were basically their trump cards and they consumed a lot of energy. If it was not necessary, they would only use acquired skills to fight against their enemies. The so-called acquired skills were martial arts techniques that could be activated by the power of the divine text, such as the heavenly mandate divine light that Long Yu had learned. It just so happened that Ren Pingfan had quickly mastered the acquired divine ability and happily agreed to spar with Long Yu. During the spar, he would only use the power of the heavenly beginner stage and not the power of the divine ability secret realm. For the next few days, Long Yu would spar with Ren Pingfan, constantly improving his comprehension of various martial skills during the spar. Right now, Long Yu basically only used those few martial techniques. Underworld Dragon 9 Bursts and Desolate Ancient Shadow Kill were desolate grade martial techniques. Naturally, they were the strongest martial techniques that he had comprehended. Other than that, the only martial techniques he knew were the Heavenly Mandate Divine Light, Underworld Drunken, and Samsara Awakening, as well as a movement technique, Dance of the Dragon Sparrow. There was a total of 6 martial skills, and every single one of them was extremely powerful. Even the top-grade mortal tier and top-grade spirit tier martial skills, such as Lying Drunk in the Yellow Springs and Awakening Samsara Palm, did not have much power in battle, but they each had their own unique uses. For example, the Yellow Springs realm of Drunk lying in the Yellow Springs could raise one's strength. Another example was the Samsara power of Awakening, which could allow Long Yu to see the future to a certain extent. From there, he could deepen his comprehension of various martial techniques. During the spar, apart from practicing his martial techniques, Long Yu also held the Netherworld Dragon Blade in his hand and continued to deepen his affinity with the ancient grade combat weapon. The Netherworld Dragon Blade was an ancient grade combat weapon, a level higher than a desolate grade combat weapon. It was probably the only one in the entire Shura prefecture. If he could harmonize with the Netherworld Dragonblade, he would be able to exert greater power and even develop self-awareness. For Long Yu, it would be a great improvement in his strength. However, it was not easy to harmonize with a combat weapon. It was even more difficult to harmonize with an ancient-grade combat weapon. During the spar, Long Yu's understanding of martial techniques became deeper and deeper, and his coordination with the Netherworld Dragon Blade became smoother and smoother. At the same time, Ren Pingfan also learned a lot. During the spar with Long Yu, Ren Pingfan had to maintain only the power of the Heavenly Being's secret realm. In the long run, he would be able to control his power more precisely, and thus be able to exert better effects with certain martial technique. His understanding of the acquired divine ability had also improved by leaps and bounds. In the beginning, little fatty Ren Pingfan realized that he was not a match for Long Yu at all if he suppressed his strength to the heavenly origin grade. Later on, he no longer cared so much about it. It was fine as long as he didn't use the power of the divine power secret realm. Even if he used the power of the heavenly tribulation grade, Long Yu was still able to resist him, which made him click his tongue in amazement. Such powerful martial arts talent and battle prowess were rarely seen in the entire Shura prefecture. Long Yu was probably the only person in the entire Shura prefecture who had the ability to suppress an opponent 2 levels higher than him. Even the young county princess Shu Chan could only fight an opponent 1 level higher than her. She still couldn't suppress her opponent. After all, she didn't cultivate a desolate grade martial technique. It was already very impressive for her to fight an opponent 1 level higher than her with just her powerful divine power and the desolate grade combat weapon. Day after day, a month passed by in the blink of an eye. At this time, Long Yu was finally able to form 2 desolate afterimages. In addition to his original body, there were a total of 3 Long Yu fighting at the same time, and the instantaneous burst of power was extremely terrifying. Moreover, he had finally comprehended the desolate grade martial technique, Ancient Desolate Shadow Kill, to the lesser mastery stage. He could burst out with unparalleled speed in a short period of time and use it to close in on the enemy. This technique was called Shadow Burst. Once it was used, the speed was several times faster than the Dragon Sparrow instant space. It could be said that if this technique was used together with the Void Nether Dragon Blade, it would only take an instant to kill an opponent. Even a heavenly tribulation grade martial cultivator standing in front of Long Yu wouldn't be able to withstand his attack. Of course, that was when the opponent was unprepared. Even so, Long Yu already had enough qualifications to be proud. To be able to instantly kill a martial arts expert 2 levels higher than him, Ren Pingfan had never heard of such a thing in his entire life. Apart from the improvement of the ancient desolate shadow kill, Long Yu had also learned a long time ago, Samsara Awakening, which had finally reached the transcendent stage from the perfection stage. The Samsara Awakening in the transcendent stage could use the power of Samsara to form a Samsara sword. Little fatty Ren Pingfan had personally tested that as long as the Samsara sword landed on the body, the endless power of Samsara would surge into the body and forcibly cause the opponent to temporarily drop the martial realm. Originally, it was difficult for Long Yu to use Samsara Awakening to cause the opponent to drop the cultivation realm. After all, it was only a spirit-level martial technique. But now that he had comprehended Samsara Awakening to the transcendent stage, the Samsara sword was born. The effect of causing the opponent to drop the cultivation realm appeared once again, and this made Long Yu overjoyed. Although it didn't have much effect on those in the mystic state, this made Long Yu look forward to it even more. If he could comprehend Samsara Awakening to the transcendent stage, how powerful would it be? It was inevitable for 2 people to be injured in a spar. During this process, Long Yu had finally comprehended 10% of the self-healing divine rune and siphon divine rune's power. This was 10 times more than before. His body's self-healing ability was even stronger than before, and the effects of the Siphon Divine Rune had also become extremely obvious. Every time the little fatty encountered Long Yu's Siphon Divine Rune, he had to erupt with the strength of the mystic state in order to break free. This showed how disgusting the Siphon Divine Rune was. Ren Pingfan said that with just the power of this divine rune, Long Yu could defeat most Heavenly Tribulation Realm experts. This was because Heavenly Tribulation Realm cultivators had no way of resisting the power of the Siphon Divine Rune. Once their power was absorbed by the Siphon Divine Rune, what else could they use to fight against Long Yu? It could be said that in a short month, Long Yu's strength had increased by a lot again. The only pity was that he hadn't been able to resonate with the Void Underworld Dragon Blade after so many sparring sessions. Since the Void Underworld Dragon Blade was an ancient combat weapon, he didn't know if there were any special conditions that had to be met in order to be compatible with it. Long Yu could only guess about this. He couldn't confirm it, so he could only put it to the back of his mind for now. After sparring with Ren Pingfan for a month, Long Yu felt that his comprehension of martial techniques had reached a bottleneck. Perhaps it was time for him to change his sparring partner. It was also at this time that news spread from Azura Valley. The young princess, Shu Chan, had finally broken through to the mystic state, becoming the youngest expert in Azura County's history to do so. Long Yu immediately sent a letter to congratulate her. At the same time, he invited Shu Chan to spar with him. He wanted to test the young princess's comprehension of martial techniques, divine runes, and other powers. When Shu Chan received Long Yu's letter, she agreed without hesitation. No one saw the devilish smile on her face. On this day, as usual, Ren Pingfan came to a small training ground near the courtyard. Usually, only Shu Chan's people would come to this training ground. "Little brother Long, you're here so early. I'm sorry, I'm late." Ren Pingfan ran over and discovered that Long Yu was already preparing on the small martial arts practice field. He could not help but feel a little ashamed, but also a little strange. After all, Long Yu and he had sparred together in the past, but today, he had arrived early. Brother Fatty, I forgot to tell you. I have an appointment with the princess today." Long Yu suddenly remembered that he hadn't told Ren Pingfan that he was going to spar with Shu Chan. He felt a little awkward. "You have an appointment with the princess?" Little fatty Ren Pingfan was shocked. You have an appointment with the princess? Did the princess agree to it? What are you thinking?" "I'm just sparring with the princess." Long Yu looked at little fatty doubtfully. "You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.